In the year 2077, the virtual game Apocalypse became a reality. The world's order collapsed, and Earth turned into a living hell. Humans began awakening supernatural abilities. In this chaotic world, Jiang City's richest playboy, Ye Xiao, managed to protect Qin Yanran at all costs. He spent a fortune hiring 10 experts to help her level up, ensuring she had access to the best resources. He spared no expense, even depleting his entire fortune to buy a divine artifact for Qin Yanran. Whenever valuable opportunities or equipment appeared, Ye Xiao immediately handed them over to her. Thanks to his support, Qin Yanran finally rose to become a god-tier powerhouse in the Dragon Country. Today was supposed to be their wedding day. Everyone was overjoyed to see what they believed was a match made in heaven. Many even envied Qin Yanran, dreaming of having such a wealthy, devoted man propose to them. However, at the wedding ceremony, Qin Yanran smiled and hugged Ye Xiao, only to suddenly declare that she would never marry him. Right before his eyes, she tore out his heart. Shocked and in agony, Ye Xiao asked why she would do this. Lying on the ground at death's door, he couldn't fathom why the woman he loved with all his heart would betray him so cruelly. Qin Yanran replied that money couldn't buy her true feelings. She accused Ye Xiao of trying to use lavish gifts to coerce her affection. She accepted his gifts, but that didn't mean she shared his love. Everything she had achieved was due to her own hard work. The only person who truly understood her struggles was Zhou Hong. She intended to give Ye Xiao's heart to Zhou Hong so she could hear its heartbeat every day. To her, that was the ultimate romantic gesture. Realizing that Qin Yanran and Zhou Hong had only used him for his wealth, Ye Xiao watched in despair as Zhou Hong laughed and stepped on his face. Everything that belonged to Ye Xiao now belonged to Zhou Hong. Just like that, Ye Xiao died, still unable to understand why Qin Yanran had betrayed him after he sacrificed everything for her. His heart was filled with fury. He refused to let things end this way. He wanted them to pay for what they had done. In the midst of his rage, Ye Xiao suddenly opened his eyes and found himself in a familiar place. Qin Yanran was standing before him, shouting at him. She demanded a little more of his money, claiming she was only taking it to preserve his dignity, and warned him never to bother her again if he continued clinging to her. Ye Xiao barely registered her words. He was too shocked. Had he been reincarnated? It dawned on him that he was now back in the week before Apocalypse descended. There were 200,000 yuan on his card, the monthly allowance he used to give Qin Yanran. Recognizing the scene unfolding before him, Ye Xiao realized he had truly returned to the past. Qin Yanran continued berating him, complaining that classmates called her a gold digger for taking his money, causing her endless mental anguish. Remembering the betrayal he had suffered, Ye Xiao glared at her, rage burning in his heart. This time, he wouldn't let history repeat itself. Scared, Qin Yanran asked Ye Xiao if he was regretting his actions. In response, he quickly pushed her away and told her that if she was only taking his money for his own good, then he would never give her anything again. Hearing this, Qin Yanran suddenly softened her tone and asked if this was another one of his tricks. She said that since he had come all this way, she would reluctantly accept his card once more. But Ye Xiao, furious, ordered her to get lost immediately. Shocked at his sudden change in attitude, Qin Yanran demanded to know how he dared to speak to her like that, warning him that he would regret it. Ye Xiao then removed her shoes he had paid for, and told her to leave them behind before she left. Incensed, Qin Yanran shouted that he shouldn't think a little bit of money made him so great, and that he should remember what he had done today. She vowed that even if he knelt and begged her in the future, she would never acknowledge him again. Ye Xiao tossed the shoes into a nearby trash bin, replying that if she truly never wanted to see him again, that would be a blessing. He warned her not to appear in front of him anymore because he had more important matters to attend to than waste time on her. At that moment, Ye Xiao recalled that the Apocalypse beta test would begin in just 1 week. During the first 10 minutes of that beta test, the recharge system would be briefly activated. He needed to secure enough funds before the test started. He immediately contacted Ye Lin, a relative who had always wanted to buy out his shares in the family corporation. Ye Lin was surprised to hear that Ye Xiao suddenly wanted to sell all of his shares. Ye Xiao explained that he wanted 20 billion for the shares, not a cent less. If she agreed, she would have 5 days to complete the paperwork and transfer the money into his account. Ye Lin readily agreed, assuring Ye Xiao there would be no problem. She was pleased to see him finally decide to hand over Ye Corporation to her. Ye Xiao reminded her that there was no time for idle chatter, and told her to call him once everything was ready. With his financial problem now solved, Ye Xiao only needed to wait for the Apocalypse beta to arrive. This time, he thought, I'll climb to the top alone. A week later, the Apocalypse beta arrived. Ye Xiao quickly registered and created his account. A welcome window appeared, informing him that this was the beta version of the game, which would last for 3 days. After that, the public version would go live. Logging into the game gave Ye Xiao a familiar feeling. This is it, he thought, the starting point of Apocalypse. He chose the nickname Night Xiao and selected the Beast Tamer class. In his previous life, he had witnessed a guild get obliterated by a god-tier beast tamer commanding a dark abyss dragon. This time, with his unlimited funds and resources, he would master the beast tamer class. After finalizing his nickname and class, Ye Xiao opened the top-up, recharge window, and successfully deposited $20 billion into the game. Within the next 3 days, he expected the value of those in-game coins to multiply tenfold. Suddenly, the system congratulated Ye Xiao for being the first player to recharge over $1 billion. As a reward, it unlocked a unique hidden profession called Wealth. Ye Xiao was taken aback. He had never heard of a hidden class unlocked by spending so much money. Could it be God of Wealth? At that moment, a red frog appeared from within the system, casually smoking and speaking to him. Ye Xiao stared in disbelief, wondering where the frog had come from. The frog introduced itself as Ebisu, Ye Xiao's wealth mentor, announcing that Ye Xiao was now the 709th god of wealth under his guidance. However, Ye Xiao didn't believe the toad at first. How could a toad possibly be a wealth mentor? Feeling insulted, the toad snapped its fingers to show Ye Xiao what true wealth looked like. Suddenly, countless system notifications appeared before Ye Xiao. He get innate talent wealth rolling in at level 1, the most basic ability of the god of wealth, allowing him to generate wealth. His gold coins will increase by 1% daily. He get innate talent penny pincher at level 1. As a god of wealth, he rejects all losses. Upon death, no gold coins or items will drop. He felt innate talent. Extraordinary luck at level 1. It's said that money brings good fortune. Possessing immense wealth also grants excellent luck. He also got innate talent unmatched charm at level 1. Even the ugliest person becomes handsome when they're generous. His charm increases by 50. He got innate talent power of the wealth god at level 1. As a god, he wields divine power. For every 1,000,000 gold coins he spends, he gains +1 random attribute point, up to 100 points per day. Seeing so many innate talents at once, Ye Xiao was astonished. No wonder it was classified as a hidden class. Although the abilities didn't seem directly offensive, the toad pointed out that any one of these god of wealth talents could bring unimaginable riches. When Ye Xiao noticed the effect of wealth rolling in, he realized that with his current 2.2 billion in gold, he would earn 22 million extra gold daily, and with power of the wealth god, that translated into 22 free attribute points every day. He quickly concluded that this god of wealth class was simply overpowered. In his previous life, he had spent all his money on Qin Yanran, but in this life, as a god of wealth, he was determined to show the world the true power of money. With this golden finger, he wouldn't have to wait to become stronger. Ye Xiao immediately spawned into the newbie village. He noticed there weren't many players around, making it the perfect time to level up quickly. However, starting as a beast tamer was dozens of times harder than other classes. In the early stages, he couldn't tame powerful beasts. He needed a good strategy. The toad chastised him for recklessly choosing beast tamer, reminding him he didn't even start with a proper weapon. But Ye Xiao insisted that the toad just didn't understand. The beast tamer class had the highest potential for growth if nurtured correctly. Just as he was checking his status window, he heard a commotion behind him. Turning around, he saw a group of level 5 goblin warriors rushing toward him. Since he had no weapon at all, Ye Xiao was at a complete disadvantage. The toad, panicking, told him to run for his life, and Ye Xiao, without hesitation, dashed away with the toad in tow. They ran all the way to the main city, narrowly avoiding defeat. Ye Xiao felt humiliated. He had never experienced such shame before. Other players who saw his beast tamer class could only pity him, some even mocking him for taming a toad. Enraged, the toad urged Ye Xiao to buy a beast egg in the city and tame a better creature. Ye Xiao, however, refused to settle for an ordinary beast. Confused, the toad asked what kind of beast he wanted instead. Ye Xiao revealed he knew of a hidden dungeon containing a god-level beast egg in a dragon's lair. With that, Ye Xiao headed to the Supreme Hall to hire mercenaries who could help him venture into the dungeon and claim his future legendary companion. The toad was shocked to see Ye Xiao heading into the Supreme Hall at level 1. Typically, only players above level 100 could hire guards in such a prestigious place. Ignoring the toad's warnings, Ye Xiao entered anyway, only to be stopped by a level 80 Grand Archmage. The Archmage insisted that this was no place for a low-level player, and politely suggested Ye Xiao return once he was stronger, and had a recommendation letter from the city lord. Ye Xiao admitted he didn't have the letter, so the Archmage ordered him to leave. claiming the Supreme Hall was the Empire's pride and not meant for someone like him. At that point, Ye Xiao mentioned he had heard the Archmage had recently lost something and that he was here to return it. Suspicious, the Archmage declared he had lost nothing and warned Ye Xiao not to lie. In response, Ye Xiao tossed a handful of gold coins onto the ground and told the Archmage to look carefully. Those were the lost coins. A sudden glint appeared in the Archmage's eyes. He quickly collected the gold coins, and his attitude toward Ye Xiao changed dramatically. Showing new respect, he guided Ye Xiao to a VIP room in the War God Pavilion on the upper floors of the Supreme Hall. Ye Xiao couldn't help but smile at how quickly the Archmage's demeanor had shifted. He even teased the Archmage, saying he liked his earlier fierceness. In return, the Archmage assured Ye Xiao that he was now free to enter. The Toad was amazed at how well money could open doors. Once inside, Ye Xiao observed rows of powerful Supreme Hall Honor Knight golems, some at level 80 and others at level 100. Even the Toad had to admit the Supreme Hall lived up to its reputation. Anyone who hired a level 100 guardian could practically dominate the newbie village. Yet none of these standard golems appealed to Ye Xiao. He considered them beneath him. Suddenly, a berserk blood warrior approached Ye Xiao and demanded to know who had allowed him inside. Ye Xiao ignored his tone and stated he wanted to hire a divine-level golem guardian. The berserk blood warrior scoffed, explaining that divine-level golems were exceedingly rare and generally weren't available for hire. Besides, judging by Ye Xiao's current stats, even an 80-level guardian was already more than enough. He doubted Ye Xiao could afford a divine-level contract. Ye Xiao then declared he was willing to pay 1 billion gold per day, causing the berserk blood warrior to fall silent. His demeanor softened immediately. In a quieter voice, he admitted it wasn't strictly impossible. Rules were ultimately made by people. By coincidence, he happened to know a divine-level spellcaster who might be willing to help. Recalling that divine-level spellcasters were incredibly versatile, capable of protection, defense, and offense all at once, Ye Xiao recognized that hiring such a powerful ally from the start would be an enormous advantage. He accepted the Berserk Blood Warrior's offer without hesitation. The Berserk Blood Warrior reminded Ye Xiao that although he could summon the divine-level spellcaster any time, they first had to settle the payment details for the 1 billion gold per day rate. Ye Xiao proposed signing a contract immediately, agreeing to pay whenever it was required. The Berserk Blood Warrior accepted and said that once the contract was finalized, the spellcaster would be summoned right away. Ye Xiao was eager to proceed. He had much to accomplish and wanted to start as soon as possible. As the contract stabilized, a beautiful female mage suddenly teleported behind Ye Xiao. Her name was Dolores, a divine-level spellcaster. According to the contract, she would follow Ye Xiao's orders for the next 24 hours. Curious, Dolores asked what difficult task he needed her for. Feeling a bit awkward, Ye Xiao admitted he had hired her for a very challenging mission. Dolores, however, seemed unimpressed. She assumed there were no truly tough dungeons in the newbie village, mentioning that foes like the Goblin King, and even his entire family, could be wiped out with a simple wave of her hand. Ye Xiao decided to skip any further explanations, and asked her to follow him immediately. Together, they headed to a monster hunting area. Upon arriving, Dolores summoned a massive firewall spell that instantly obliterated the Goblin Elite warriors in mere seconds. Ye Xiao was stunned by her damage output. It was as if she was knocking the numbers so high they might as well be phone numbers. The other players nearby were just as speechless. They saw Ye Xiao teamed with a spellcaster unleashing insane damage values. Some wondered if he was hacking, but quickly dismissed it. No known cheats existed for the game yet. The only logical explanation was that he had hired an extremely high-level NPC spellcaster. Thanks to Dolores's overwhelming firepower, Ye Xiao's level skyrocketed. He soon reached level 10, gaining 10 attribute points to allocate freely. He also became the first player in Novice Village number 9527 to reach level 10, earning another 10 bonus attribute points. Even more impressively, he was the first player worldwide to hit level 10, which granted him 50 additional attribute points and the special title, Speed Ascender. The Toad was amazed at Ye Xiao's rapid progression. Most players were still below level 5, yet Ye Xiao had surged to level 10 in just half a day. In response, the system broadcasted a worldwide announcement. Player Night Sorrow has reached level 10, unlocking the level leaderboard. Other players were shocked, wondering how someone had managed to level up so quickly. Some guessed he might be a game master testing the system, but Ye Xiao didn't care about their speculation. Soon enough, when Apocalypse merged with reality, everyone would discover he was the true god among them. With his new level, bonus attribute points, and the 100 points gained from spending 1 billion gold through his God of Wealth power, Ye Xiao decided it was time to head for his true destination. After a long trek, The toad finally asked how much farther they had to go to reach the hidden dungeon. Ye Xiao reassured him they had already arrived. Pointing ahead, he announced with a smile, "Welcome to the dragon's lair." Meanwhile, in another part of the game, a player, currently only level 3, had been relentlessly hunting elite monsters from the moment he logged in. Despite all his effort, he'd barely reached level 3, yet someone else had already hit level 10. Is there some exploit in the game? He wondered. He'd never heard of Night Sorrow before, but the news both intrigued and excited him. This could mean there was a powerful rival worth competing against. Back to Ye Xiao, having finally arrived at the hidden dungeon located in Novice Village number 9527, deep within Whispering Valley at coordinates 1102-254, Ye Xiao placed his hand on a particular stone to reveal a concealed entrance. As he and his companions entered, a system warning flashed. It says, "This area is extremely dangerous. Leave immediately." Dolores, the divine-level spellcaster Ye Xiao had hired, was astonished by the overpowering aura seeping from the hidden dungeon. She couldn't believe a dragon's lair existed within a newbie village. "How did you even find this place?" she asked, both curious and wary. Ye Xiao explained he had no intention of actually fighting a dragon at his current level. A level 100 berserker in his previous life had accidentally triggered a hidden quest, explore the dragon's lair, and discovered the entrance was in the Novice Village. Nobody believed him at the time, so he ventured in alone, and never returned. In Ye Xiao's past life, he'd bought that berserker's battle footage for a high price, and learned there was a rare dragon egg in this dungeon. Now, he intended to claim it. Both Dolores and the toad, Ebisu, were shocked when Ye Xiao revealed he planned to steal a dragon egg. Dolores warned him that stealing a dragon egg was often harder than slaying the dragon itself. Ye Xiao, however, insisted that someone of her caliber, a god-tier sorceress, could handle the challenge in seconds. Venturing deeper into the lair, the group soon spotted a massive dragon in deep slumber. Dolores froze in place. "That's a Tier 5 radiant dragon," she exclaimed in disbelief. "Even a Tier 3 dragon can destroy an entire guild. A Tier 5 radiant dragon is in another league entirely." Ye Xiao's eyes gleamed. The egg of such a powerful creature had to be incredibly valuable. He was determined to obtain it at any cost. Dolores, however, shook her head, refusing to fight. Even doubling her commission wouldn't change her mind. She claimed it was simply impossible. Ye Xiao then clarified he had no intention of battling the dragon directly. He just needed her to buy him some time while he snatched the egg. Dolores still hesitated. A Tier 5 radiant dragon was beyond formidable. As she started to walk away, Ye Xiao tripled her fee on the spot. With such a massive offer, Dolores finally relented. "I can only hold off the dragon for 3 minutes at most," she warned. "Use that time wisely to grab the egg." She then cast multiple buffs on Ye Xiao, each lasting exactly 3 minutes, and told him bluntly, "The rest is up to you." Seeing this, Ye Xiao realized just how incredible and terrifying a god-tier sorceress could be. Sister Tao Lacey unleashed her full power against the dragon, using ice arrows to restrict its movement and draw its rage away from Ye Xiao. With the dragon's attention focused on her, Ye Xiao slipped behind it, hoping to steal the dragon egg undetected. He reminded Sister Tao not to let the dragon notice him. Otherwise, they'd be done for. But Sister Tao was quickly running out of steam. She called out to Ye Xiao that she could only distract the dragon for another minute and a half, so he needed to hurry. When Ye Xiao tried to lift the dragon egg, he realized it was far heavier than he'd expected. He asked the toad, Ebisu, to help, but the toad clumsily knocked over some armor lying nearby, causing a loud crash that caught the dragon's attention. Enraged, the dragon turned toward them. Ye Xiao grabbed the egg in a panic and yelled for Sister Tao to do something. Mustering her remaining mana, Sister Tao erected an ice wall to slow the dragon's advance, but it was nowhere near enough. The dragon roared and unleashed a Dragon King's breath, forcing Sister Tao to warn Ye Xiao to run for his life. She herself fled as well. Seeing her also running away, Ye Xiao shouted after her in confusion, but she reminded him their 3-minute deal was over. She wasn't some invincible being who could take on a Tier 5 dragon indefinitely. Together, they barely escaped the dungeon before they were incinerated by the dragon's breath. Though it was a close call, Ye Xiao successfully managed to snatch the dragon egg. Outside, Sister Tao admitted that if this egg truly belonged to a Tier 5 dragon, then the risk they'd taken would be worth it. She also reminded Ye Xiao not to forget her commission. Because of this mission, Tao Lacey's favorability toward Ye Xiao increased, now sitting at 60. Ye Xiao assured her she'd be paid promptly. He then turned his attention to contracting the beast. The toad teased Ye Xiao, hoping the egg wouldn't hatch into something bizarre. Otherwise, that 300 million he'd spent to hire Sister Tao would have gone to waste. Ignoring the jab, Ye Xiao placed his hand on the dragon egg. Success or failure, it all came down to this moment. The shell cracked, revealing a small green dragon. But there was something odd about its appearance. It didn't look like a radiant dragon hatchling at all. Its coloration was wrong. Taken aback, they wondered if this meant the radiant dragon had been cheated on. When Ye Xiao checked the little dragon's status, he was completely stunned. It turned out to be a mythical tier azure sky dragon, currently at level 1, yet its base stats were already off the charts. It has average of 500 strength, constitution, agility and spirit. In addition, it had several overwhelmingly powerful talents. Its first talent is absolute suppression. As a mythical tier beast, the azure sky dragon naturally suppresses lower tier creatures. It deals 30% more damage to creatures below mythical tier, and it receives 30% less damage from creatures below mythical tier. Its second talent is Dragon King. The azure sky dragon, as the supreme being of the dragon race, naturally suppresses all dragon-type creatures and deals 50% more damage to all dragons, and receives 50% less damage from dragons. Its third talent is Mythical Bloodline. As a mythical tier beast, the azure sky dragon has an incredibly resilient body. It gains increased stats upon leveling and its health and mana regen 200 per second. It also possessed several devastating skills. It has Earth-Shaking Dragon Roar, which is a group stun skill. The azure sky dragon unleashes a thunderous roar, shaking the very land, and all creatures within a 20-meter radius are stunned for 1.5 seconds, regardless of tier or type. Its cooldown is 30 seconds, and it costs 2,000 mana. Its second skill is Dragon King's Breath, which is a single-target skill. The azure sky dragon breathes scorching flames that deal 500% of its strength as true damage to a locked target. This attack cannot be dodged and has 5 seconds cooldown, costing 1,000 mana per use. Its third skill is Dragon King's Wrath, which is a unique talent skill. The azure sky dragon enters an uncontrollable rage, determined to obliterate everything in its path. It deals the enemies strength plus constitution points of percentage true damage indiscriminately to all creatures within 50 meters. It has 30 days cooldown, and after activation, all stats permanently decrease by 5%, and the dragon falls into a 5-day slumber. With 500 strength at level 1, even its basic breath attack would inflict well over 2,500 damage, an amount no normal player could withstand. Sister Tao congratulated Ye Xiao on his extraordinary luck, pointing out the hatchling's absurd stats and immeasurable growth potential. If this azure sky dragon matured, its power would be terrifying. Overjoyed, Ye Xiao decided to name the hatchling Little Gray. The toad was equally delighted that this formidable beast was now unmistakably Ye Xiao's companion rather than his own. But suddenly, Ye Xiao noticed the toad holding something strange, a badge. Curious, Ye Xiao asked him where it came from. The toad explained he'd picked it up from the dragon's nest. Sister Tao recognized it and wondered if it might be the Calamity Tier Mark of Ferocity, but upon checking, Ye Xiao discovered it wasn't a true Calamity Tier item. Instead, it was simply called Mark of Ferocity, offering 10 points of increase to all stats. It has a unique passive skill, Ferocity's Might. Using this, the bearer gains unparalleled strength, and all skills can trigger critical hits. Base crit rate is increased by 20%, and crit damage is increased by 100%. It also had an active skill called Ferocious Massacre, which unleashed the mark's power to deal 1,000% of the user's spirit as true damage to a target. This attack had double the normal crit chance, and if crit chance exceeded 100%, any overflow converted into additional crit damage. It also had a 5% chance to cause instant death. If the target's HP fell below 20%, the instant death effect was guaranteed. The skill's cooldown was 10 days. Judging by the badge's monstrous stats, Sister Tao told Ye Xiao it was likely a Calamity Tier item. The toad, however, insisted Ye Xiao hand it over, complaining that he had risked his life to retrieve it from the dragon's lair. Ye Xiao countered that, thanks to the toad's clumsiness, they'd nearly lost their lives. So it was only fair that he keep the badge as compensation. Still unwilling to concede, the toad demanded 10,000 coins per day if Ye Xiao wanted to hold on to the badge. Ye Xiao tried to sweet-talk him, saying they were buddies and money shouldn't matter between them. The toad snapped back that Ye Xiao only acted friendly when he wanted something. Otherwise, he treated the toad as nothing more than a toad. Ye Xiao simply laughed, saying that with this badge, cutting through goblins would be like slicing butter. But the moment he equipped the badge, he triggered a hidden quest. The Forbidden Adjudicator. Though mighty, the King of Ferocity was consumed by the abyss. Bearer of the Mark of Ferocity. Seek the truth. This quest's objective was to find the Fang of Ferocity. Startled by the sudden hidden quest, Ye Xiao wondered what the Fang of Ferocity was. Sister Tao, who knew of it, explained that it was a god-tier assassin's dagger, forged from the fangs of an abyssal beast. Known for explosive power, the Fang seemed linked to the mark of ferocity. However, she warned that reaching the Abyss continent would be a long journey. Before Ye Xiao could ask for more details, his daily gaming time ran out. He would be forcibly logged out in 3 minutes. Sister Tao opened a teleportation portal to return to the Supreme Hall, remarking that she hadn't expected a hidden dungeon in a starter village to take so long. She reminded Ye Xiao that if he ever needed help with another dangerous dungeon, he could hire her any time. Ye Xiao said his goodbyes and logged out to rest, since the Doomsday game was still in beta and hadn't fully merged with reality yet. No need to push his body too hard. The next day, at Ye Xiao's home, Ye Xiao browsed the internet for news about Doomsday and found countless popular articles discussing the game's dominance in the gaming community. It topped discussion charts, and players were complaining about the game's difficulty. Many spent entire days playing but only reached level 2, dying repeatedly and suffering stat resets. Some posts also mentioned Ye Xiao, the mysterious player who'd reached level 10 in just one day, while most couldn't even scrape together enough experience to level once. Many questioned if he was cheating or hacking. There were more serious reports as well. On Doomsday's first day, many players died in-game and experienced severe physical symptoms after logging out, with some even requiring hospitalization. Cases of organ failure among survivors were emerging. In response, several governments had issued warnings against playing the game. Because of so many reported deaths, multiple nations were now banning Doomsday. Seeing this news, Ye Xiao could only laugh. He knew that once the game merged with reality, those countries would regret it, and everyone would suffer. While he was enjoying his morning, his phone suddenly rang. It was his girlfriend, Qin Yanran, calling from Northhua Hospital. She demanded Ye Xiao bring some food for Zhou Hong and pay his medical bills. If he did so, she would act as if nothing had ever happened between them. In response, Ye Xiao ended the call and blocked her number, unwilling to tolerate her demands any longer. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Zhou Hong asked Qin Yanran if she was sure Ye Xiao would come just because she called. Qin Yanran told him not to worry. She believed Ye Xiao loved her so deeply that he would show up the moment she summoned him, like a dog. They seemed pleased with themselves until a doctor appeared, telling them they would have to settle their bill and be discharged early. Qin Yanran questioned why they needed an early discharge. The doctor explained that the hospital was overwhelmed with organ failure patients, people who had been playing Doomsday, and they were running out of beds. Yanran sarcastically asked if they considered poor people's lives worthless, but the doctor insisted they pay their bill and vacate the room by day's end. Zhou Hong stopped Yanran from arguing further. He said that the game clearly wasn't simple, and he intended to get discharged so he could keep playing. First, however, he asked Yanran to cover the hospital fees, but she didn't have any money. She had refused Ye Xiao's monthly allowance. Zhou Hong then remembered that Ye Xiao used to give her 200,000 yuan every month for living expenses, but Yanran stated she wouldn't take any of Ye Xiao's filthy money, insisting she was not some object he could buy with lavish gifts. She felt sick just thinking about him. Growing worried, Zhou Hong told Yanran to send Ye Xiao another message asking for money because he planned to start a Doomsday gaming studio. For Ye Xiao, that kind of money was nothing, but for them, it was crucial. Yanran reassured Zhou Hong that once Ye Xiao showed up, she would say a few sweet words, and he would obediently hand over the money. Meanwhile, at Ye Xiao's home, he had been sleeping after logging out of the game. When his alarm went off, he woke up, ready to log back into Doomsday. He wanted to continue leveling up before the beta fully merged with reality. Upon logging in, he found himself back in Novice Village. He summoned the Toad, Ebisu, and told him they needed to level up quickly and leave the village. In a place where most players were still level 1 or 2, Ye Xiao, already level 10, stood out significantly. A crowd began gathering around him, amazed that the top-ranked player on the leaderboard was right there. People were curious, some inviting him to join their teams, even offering cute little girls in their parties as incentives. Despite changing into a masked outfit to hide his face, Ye Xiao couldn't conceal the level floating above his head. To escape the attention, he ran out of the Novice Village as fast as he could. Unfortunately, other players, still chasing him for answers or opportunities, followed him outside. Even after leaving the village, they continued pursuing him, determined to catch up to the game's most mysterious powerhouse. To escape the pursuing crowd, Ye Xiao rushed into a level 10 trial zone, a treacherous area with monsters too powerful for the level 2 or 3 newbies who had been chasing him. Just as he'd hoped, they all stopped at the entrance, unwilling to risk their lives. With a sigh of relief, Ye Xiao noted that they weren't stupid. They knew better than to follow him any further. He continued onward until he saw a castle with a guard standing at the entrance. The guard told Ye Xiao that this wasn't a place for someone of his level, but Ye Xiao replied that he was there to begin his advancement trial. Surprised by Ye Xiao's level 10 status, the guard asked if he had a team. Ye Xiao declared that he was going in solo, causing the guard to scoff at his arrogance, even on normal difficulty. Attempting this trial alone was nearly suicidal. Ye Xiao dismissed the guard's concern, boasting that he wouldn't die so easily. Shaking his head, the guard decided Ye Xiao was just another reckless kid. Standing on the magical circle that started the trial, Ye Xiao was presented with several difficulty options: normal, hard, nightmare, hell, and abyss. Without hesitation, he chose the highest setting, abyss, and confirmed he would enter alone. The guard watching was in disbelief. A mere level 10 player trying to tackle abyss difficulty by himself. Ye Xiao recalled that in his previous life, he had tried this trial with full bronze gear and an elite team, yet they'd nearly been wiped out because he'd had to babysit Qin Yanran. This time, he was determined to get revenge and erase the shame of his past. Summoning Little Gray, his mythical grade Azure Sky Dragon, he felt confident he had nothing to fear. Suddenly, Ye Xiao heard movement behind him. It was a level 10 mutated snow wolf with 5,000 HP and 5,000 MP, along with imposing stats: Strength 300, Constitution 500, Agility 300, and Spirit 500. As an abyss creature, once it locked onto a target, it was like facing death itself. Even Ye Xiao felt a twinge of fear. 5,000 horsepower was immense for a level 10 monster. He quickly commanded Little Gray to attack. The dragon unleashed Dragon King's breath, dealing a massive 2,500 damage. Little Gray followed up with physical claw attacks that did another 500 to 600 damage. The Snow Wolf's HP plummeted, sending it into a berserk state. Before it could strike back, Little Gray used earth-shaking dragon roar, stunning the wolf and leaving it helpless. Then another Dragon King's breath finished the job. Upon defeating the wolf, Little Gray leveled up 4 times in a row. Ye Xiao was thrilled to see such rapid progression, plus 4 levels in an instant. Checking Little Gray's updated stats, he found that the dragon gained plus 50 to each stat per level, confirming that mythical grade beasts grew at a terrifying rate. It even unlocked a new, incredibly powerful skill. The Snow Wolf also dropped some impressive loot: a Blood Wolf Fang dagger, dark gold grade, and a Snow Wolf bow, also dark gold grade. Ye Xiao marveled at the quality. Mutated bosses in abyss difficulty seemed to drop vastly superior items compared to his past life. While he was inspecting his new gear, another demonized monster suddenly appeared behind him. Its stats were just as insane. Without hesitation, he ordered Little Gray to engage, and their battle raged on for another half hour. After half an hour, he finally defeated the Dark Abyss Tiger. Yet after such a fierce battle, he was so exhausted it felt as if his legs would fall off. Still, defeating the Dark Abyss Tiger yielded several dark gold grade items, including a pitch-black sword, one-handed, and a spiked tiger shield, one-handed. Toda also picked up several pieces of gear. With this equipment, once he returned to the city, he could earn a decent amount of gold. However, Ye Xiao told him that he wasn't heading back. Instead, he wanted to challenge the trial boss and take it down. Toda was shocked. He asked Ye Xiao if he was joking. Even though they had killed so many monsters, Ye Xiao was still only level 7. How could he possibly handle the boss alone at that level? Ye Xiao told Toda not to worry. In his previous life's abyss trial, the final boss was only Lord level, with Little Gray, who could easily take down 2 demonic monsters. And with everyone's help, defeating a Lord-level boss would be as simple as slicing vegetables. He promised Toda he would show him what it meant to be a pro. Toda, however, was skeptical. They soon reached the deepest part of the abyss. The system immediately warned them that they had entered an extremely dangerous area and advised them to flee. Nevertheless, Ye Xiao was determined to see this through. In his past life, he had been a man of honor, trapped by love and emotions, only to be betrayed in return. But in this life, he was the Abyss Envoy, wielding the strongest power of the apocalypse, and he refused to leave before fully embracing the abyss. Advancing further, they came upon a fearsome monster seated on a throne. It was the Abyss Wanderer King, boasting overwhelming stats. Many of its attributes, like health, talents, and skills, were unknown, likely because Ye Xiao's level was too low to see them. Everyone was stunned. They had expected a Lord-level enemy, but instead found themselves facing a King-level boss. Ye Xiao was just as astonished. In his past life, the boss had clearly been Lord-level. Why was it King-level now? With 5,000 spirit points, it was purely magic-based. possessing zero strength and agility. Its normal attack damage was negligible, and its attack speed was extremely slow, but if any of its spells struck Ye Xiao, he would be done for. Knowing a king-level boss was no joke, Ye Xiao ordered Little Gray to follow his commands precisely. Since the boss was slow, he instructed Little Gray to keep moving and attacking, never to engage in a prolonged fight. Little Gray obliged by constantly repositioning and striking, giving the king-level monster no chance to counterattack or activate its abilities. Ye Xiao was thrilled. If everything went according to plan, they would soon bring it down. But suddenly, Ye Xiao noticed the monster was just staring at him, not moving. He realized something was amiss, and he was right. The monster had been preparing a powerful magic spell aimed directly at him. Tota cried out for Ye Xiao to dodge. He barely managed to evade the spell, but the boss continued focusing all its attacks on him. Confused about why the boss singled him out, Ye Xiao called for Little Gray to help before he ran out of stamina. Little Gray rushed in, unleashing a Dragon King's breath that sent the boss crashing into a distant wall. If the boss didn't die soon, Ye Xiao would collapse from constant movement. Irritated and frightened, Tota shouted that if Ye Xiao ever dragged him to such a dangerous place again, he would refuse to come. At that moment, multiple system notifications appeared before Ye Xiao. Congratulations, you have completed the Abyss trial. Your beast, Little Gray, has reached level 10. You are also the first adventurer to clear this trial, and your reward is +5 to all attributes. With the boss finally slain, Ye Xiao exhaled in relief. He then turned to Tota, calling him a coward. Tota argued back. If Ye Xiao was so fearless, why had he run so fast to save himself? Ignoring the retort, Ye Xiao approached the fallen boss to see what kind of loot a king-level monster would drop. Meanwhile, a loud system announcement echoed throughout the game. Player Ye Xiao from Daxia Nation has completed the Abyss trial, becoming the first adventurer in history to conquer it. He has earned the legendary title, Abyss Envoy. This is hereby announced. Players across the game were stunned. It had only been 2 days since launch, yet someone had already cleared an Abyss-level dungeon. Those from Daxia Nation were especially astonished. A top-ranked player came from their homeland, and his name alone graced the leaderboard. This person was truly extraordinary. Many large and powerful guilds immediately began investigating Ye Xiao in hopes of recruiting him. Back in Beginner Village 9527, the players were excited to learn that the famous new level 10 expert was from their very own village. Zhou Hong, now discharged from the hospital, resumed playing. He told Yanran that if they could befriend this pro and team up with him, they would become famous in no time. Even someone like Ye Xiao, a wealthy second-generation kid, might eventually look up to them. Yanran asked if he truly believed a simple game could help him reach the pinnacle of life. Zhou Hong replied that something about this game felt different, and that she should trust his judgment. He then asked if she had contacted Ye Xiao to help them level up. After all, he was rich and a gaming expert. Yanran refused, telling Zhou Hong that she would not reach out herself. If he wanted to, he could do so, but she wasn't that shameless. Yanran told Zhou Hong to stop bringing up Ye Xiao. It was so rare for them to have some time alone together. Since she had never played the game before, she asked him to teach her so they could enjoy some time together. Realizing her intention, Zhou Hong suggested they go level up. Meanwhile, Ye Xiao had just defeated a hidden dungeon boss, and was stunned by the loot. After all that effort, the boss had only dropped a single fragment, an item he had never encountered in his previous life. It was called the Abyssal Stone Fragment, with an unknown grade and currently unidentifiable. Seeing no immediate use for it, Ye Xiao decided to head back to the spawn point, planning to get it appraised later. He had passed the trial, so leaving the beginner's village and heading to the main city took priority. Upon emerging from the dungeon, Ye Xiao found the guard at the entrance in complete disbelief. Someone had actually solo cleared the trial on Abyss difficulty. Ye Xiao told the guard to stop wasting time and open a path to the main city so he could leave the beginner's village. The guard quickly activated the teleportation gate and congratulated Ye Xiao on passing the trial. He also gave Ye Xiao a guide token, which granted free entry to and from the main city. Ye Xiao thanked the guard for his help. In addition, because Ye Xiao cleared the Abyss-level advancement trial, he was entitled to an epic item, the Badge of Valor. This badge served as proof of a hero, and was only awarded to those who cleared the Inferno-level trial, an extraordinary feat. Equipped with this badge, Ye Xiao's base stats would increase by 20, and his charisma by 3. He also gained a passive skill called Valor's Might, which increased his strength by 10% for 1 minute whenever his HP fell below 30%. Ye Xiao was amazed by the Badge of Valor's effects. After receiving it, he stepped into the teleportation portal and arrived moments later in the main city of Windleaf. The system congratulated him on entering a new area, Ye Xiao was surprised to see how quiet the city was. In his previous life, the job transfer square would have been packed with hundreds of players. Arriving so early really changed the scene. Without delay, Ye Xiao set out to find Beastmaster Gutal. A companion named Tota was puzzled, and asked why Ye Xiao was looking for a Beastmaster when he was already a beast tamer. Ye Xiao just smiled and said Tota would see soon enough. Before long, Ye Xiao reached Beastmaster Gutal, finding an older man sitting by the entrance. Ye Xiao approached and said he wanted a job transfer. However, the old man dismissed him outright, telling him to bother someone else. Ye Xiao insisted that he wanted to transfer to the hidden class Beast Whisperer, and that only Gutal could grant it. At this, the old man glared and said that becoming a Beast Whisperer wasn't for just anyone. If Ye Xiao wanted to join this class, he would have to prove his strength first. Gutal ordered him to head to the outskirts and bring back 100 demon wolf cub eyes. Tota was shocked, and asked how Ye Xiao even knew about this hidden class quest. Ye Xiao, however, had no intention of spending time hunting 100 elite monsters. Hearing this, the old man scoffed and called Ye Xiao a useless fool, saying that if he couldn't even handle that, he had no chance of becoming a Beast Whisperer. In a huff, Gutal told Ye Xiao to get lost and stop wasting his time. In response, Ye Xiao retrieved the Badge of Valor from his pocket and explained that there might be a misunderstanding. He didn't think he needed to kill any demon wolves. This badge alone should prove his strength. The old man was astonished to see the epic Badge of Valor, shocked that someone so young had already cleared the Inferno-level advancement trial. Ye Xiao then corrected him, clarifying that he had, in fact, cleared the Abyss-level trial. The old man grew even more surprised, and asked Ye Xiao if he truly cleared an Abyss-level trial. He also wondered how many people had been on Ye Xiao's team. Confidently, Ye Xiao revealed that he had gone in alone, and defeated the Abyss-level challenge by himself. Awkwardly laughing, the old man declared that he had known Ye Xiao was extraordinary from the very start, a true dragon among men. Ye Xiao couldn't help but be taken aback at how fast this man's attitude had changed. Not long ago, the old man had called him a useless fool, and now he was showering him with praise. Without wasting any time, Ye Xiao asked if he could finally transfer to the Beast Whisperer class. The old man nodded, but admitted he first wanted to see what kind of beast could survive an Abyss-level trial. Ye Xiao then showed him his little dragon hatchling. Taken aback, the old man broke into a cold sweat. He could hardly believe he was looking at a god-tier dragon hatchling. He never expected to witness such a creature in his lifetime. The old man told Ye Xiao that he might not be able to transfer him to the Beast Whisperer class that day. When Ye Xiao asked why, the old man explained that the Beast Whisperer class was simply unworthy of a god-tier beast. Instead, he would introduce Ye Xiao to the Royal Chief Beast Tamer. He handed Ye Xiao a referral letter and gave him directions, insisting that only the Royal Chief Beast Tamer could properly guide him. Upon receiving the letter, Ye Xiao triggered a new hidden class quest, Dragon's Whisper. After securing the referral letter, Ye Xiao headed toward the royal city to find the Royal Chief Beast Tamer. As they traveled, Tota marveled at Ye Xiao's luck in discovering a hidden class. Ye Xiao then mentioned that the Royal Chief Beast Tamer was quite far away, and that he had other matters to handle first. Confused, Tota asked what those matters were. Ye Xiao only smiled and told him to follow along, because he needed to complete another hidden quest. Still perplexed about how Ye Xiao knew so many hidden quests, Tota went with him. Soon, they arrived in front of a grand church-like building, where a beautiful woman stood surrounded by guards, searching for something. Jokingly, Tota asked if Ye Xiao planned to sell himself to a wealthy lady. Ye Xiao just chuckled and explained that this was Lady Charelle, the widow of the former city lord, a rich and beautiful noblewoman, but not the reason he had come. As Ye Xiao approached, the guards stopped him and demanded to know who he was. Ye Xiao respectfully greeted Lady Charelle and asked why she seemed so sorrowful. Was there a problem he could help solve? Lady Charelle confided that she had lost a very precious personal item. If Ye Xiao could recover it, she would be deeply grateful. Thus, Ye Xiao triggered yet another hidden mission. Lady Charelle's request: retrieve her beautiful flower. He reassured Lady Charelle that he would take care of it, then set out to fulfill her request. After that, Ye Xiao headed into the city to look for the flower, while Tota grew more and more confused. He asked Ye Xiao why they were wandering around town if Lady Charelle's flower should be in a garden, or somewhere outside the city. Ye Xiao simply smiled and replied that this wasn't an ordinary flower. Tota asked if Ye Xiao actually knew where the flower was, but Ye Xiao didn't say a word. He walked into a small shop. Tota, now even more perplexed, wondered how on earth a tool shop could possibly stock a beautiful flower. As they entered, the shopkeeper greeted Ye Xiao and asked what he was looking to buy. Ye Xiao said he'd heard the shop sold treasure boxes. The shopkeeper proudly explained that these boxes could contain anything from prehistoric dragon bones to legendary grade staffs. Then he asked Ye Xiao what price range he wanted. Ye Xiao laughed and asked for the most expensive boxes. The shopkeeper brought out their highest grade treasure boxes, each costing 10,000 gold coins. To the shopkeeper's shock, Ye Xiao wanted them all. He insisted on buying every single one, then opening them on the spot. Unable to believe his ears, the shopkeeper confirmed Ye Xiao's request and began retrieving all the boxes. One by one, Ye Xiao opened the boxes. Most contained various random items, but no sign of the rare flower. After half an hour, he was down to the last box without any luck. Nervously, he opened the final treasure box, and finally, his luck shone through. Inside was the crystal white flower, a stunning bloom whose actual use was unknown. Overjoyed, Ye Xiao rushed back to Lady Charelle's estate to deliver the flower. Meanwhile, Lady Charelle was taking a bath, talking with her maid, Liz, about whether anyone would actually be able to find it. Liz nodded and reassured her that, with Lady Charelle's fortune, luck wouldn't fail her. Just then, another maid dashed into the bathroom, announcing that a young man was outside claiming to have brought the flower Lady Charelle desired. Shocked, Lady Charelle stood up, momentarily forgetting she wasn't wearing anything, unable to believe someone had truly found it so quickly. After hastily dressing, she came out to greet Ye Xiao. A guard gestured toward him, explaining that he was the one who had come with the flower. Ye Xiao presented the box to Lady Charelle and invited her to inspect its contents. Overjoyed to see the very flower she had been searching for, Lady Charelle thanked him profusely. Turning to Ye Xiao, she asked what reward he wanted, money, or perhaps a rare artifact. She was more than ready to repay him for his trouble. Ye Xiao told Lady Charelle that he wasn't interested in money or artifacts. Hearing this, Lady Charelle smiled and teased that if wealth and treasures didn't appeal to him, the only thing left for her to offer was herself. Blushing in embarrassment, Ye Xiao was shocked by her bold suggestion. He quickly composed himself and nervously clarified that she had misunderstood. He only needed her help to obtain official citizenship status. Lady Charelle laughed, amused by Ye Xiao's noble demeanor and charm, and her favorability toward him increased. "You little rascal," she teased. "So all you wanted was citizenship? That's easy." She called for one of her maids, Eliza, to prepare the necessary papers and her official seal. However, Ye Xiao had another request. He wanted to purchase property in Windleaf City and settle down. He showed Lady Charelle a map and pointed to the location he had in mind. Glancing at the map, she noted that while she understood his desire to acquire real estate, the West District he was eyeing wasn't exactly a bustling area. She asked if he was certain about his choice. Ye Xiao nodded, assuring her it was exactly what he wanted, and politely asked for her help in making the right connections. Lady Charelle agreed, and told him she would arrange for someone to contact the real estate agents in the West District. Ye Xiao thanked her for everything. Toda, however, was not pleased with Ye Xiao's decision. He didn't understand why Ye Xiao would ignore the prosperous East District, arguing that buying land in the less developed West District would only lead to losses. Surely that wasn't how to build wealth. Unconcerned, Ye Xiao told Toda not to worry. In his previous life, Windleaf City would be attacked by strange creatures. Even the current city lord would fall in battle, and most of the East District would be destroyed. The West District, being sparsely populated, wouldn't attract as many monsters, and would suffer the least damage. Later, it would become the most functional, and therefore most valuable part of Windleaf City. When that happened, Ye Xiao's investment would yield tenfold profits. Sometime later, Ye Xiao went to the governor's office. The real estate contracts for his purchases had been finalized, granting him ownership of 340 residential units and 184 commercial properties, an investment totaling 1.2 billion gold coins. Ye Xiao could hardly believe he had managed to buy so much with just 1 billion. After he completed the paperwork and paid the full amount, Lady Charelle handed him his citizenship documents. Ye Xiao was ecstatic. He couldn't believe he had already become a citizen of Windleaf City. However, Lady Charelle corrected him, explaining that he was not simply a citizen of Windleaf City, but a first-class citizen of the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Ye Xiao was stunned. He could hardly believe he'd become a citizen of the entire empire, and a first-class one at that. Toda, who was standing nearby, was equally astonished. Even many powerful warlords didn't hold first-class citizenship in the Dragon Phoenix Empire, so he remarked that Ye Xiao had really hit the jackpot. Looking at Lady Charelle, Ye Xiao asked if she was of royal descent. She smiled and teased him, saying, "I can't be royalty?" From Ye Xiao's perspective, her noble and regal bearing now made perfect sense. Curious, he inquired whether she knew the royal beast tamer. To his surprise, Lady Charelle revealed that the royal beast tamer was actually her uncle. When she asked why Ye Xiao was looking for him, Ye Xiao softly admitted he wanted to learn more about the beast tamer profession and related missions. Lady Shirelle blushed at his earnestness and explained that her uncle, Stir, was in the imperial capital, though he was eccentric and unpredictable. She promised to try contacting him on Ye Xiao's behalf. Ye Xiao thanked Lady Shirelle and gallantly kissed her hand, causing her to blush in embarrassment. She told him not to call her Madam anymore. Sophia would suffice. Because of this, Lady Sophia's favorability increased by +20. The system also congratulated Ye Xiao for obtaining first-class citizenship in the Dragon Phoenix Empire. It announced that his prestige ranking had been unlocked and that players from Great Xia could now check the leaderboard. Additionally, Knight Xiao had successfully acquired real estate, unlocking the regional housing system. As a result, all Great Xia players had their daily game time limit increased by 1 hour. Observing this, Tota was amazed, teasing Ye Xiao by asking if he had sold his looks to charm Lady Sophia. Ye Xiao only smiled in response. Meanwhile, after the system broadcast Ye Xiao's achievements, many other players were astonished, wondering what first-class citizenship meant. A housing system? An extra hour of playtime for everyone? Many found it unbelievable, while some grew annoyed that they might be considered lower-class citizens. Being a nobody in real life was bad enough. Did they have to be nobodies in the game too? Elsewhere, Yanren and Zhou Hong were hunting goblins to level up when they heard the announcement. They were amazed that Knight Xiao had already reached level 11 and become a first-class citizen. Yanren agreed it was quite impressive, though she thought his name sounded a bit odd. She lamented that if they had a top player like him leading them, they'd probably be at level 4 or 5 by now. Instead, they were struggling to kill a single slime. One of their teammates, angered by Yanren's complaints, asked if she was unhappy with the team. He noted that she did almost nothing yet gained levels just by tagging along, and she still wasn't satisfied. If she didn't like it, he said, she could leave. Zhou Hong tried to calm everyone down, explaining that it was just a misunderstanding and apologizing on Yanren's behalf. Furious at the lack of support, Yanren declared that she wanted to leave the party anyway. The teammates retorted that if she thought being a little pretty let her act like a princess, she was mistaken. Zhou Hong grew upset and asked Yanren how they were supposed to level up now that it was just the two of them. She snapped back that he had promised to help her level up, but when the others insulted her, he didn't defend her. "Do you even care about me?" she demanded. Zhou Hong apologized, admitting he was wrong. He then asked if Yanren had contacted Knight Xiao to play Apocalypse with them. Yanren refused, saying, "Why should I contact him first? He always contacts me first." Zhou Hong apologized again, saying he knew she had her pride, but begged her to reach out to Ye Xiao just this once so he could help them level up. Moved by his plea, Yanren agreed to consider it, telling Zhou Hong she would message Knight Xiao after she logged off. Zhou Hong bade her goodbye, saying he'd be waiting for good news. Yanren logged out, picked up her phone, and decided to contact Ye Xiao. Although she found his extravagant spending a bit crude, she was willing to give him another chance. She sent Ye Xiao a message saying that she was playing a game called Apocalypse. She urged him to hurry up, buy the necessary equipment, and then help her and Zhou Tao level up. If he could get her onto the ranking board, she might even consider becoming his girlfriend, a gesture she felt was quite generous on her part. 5 minutes later, still no reply. Checking her phone again, she discovered that Ye Xiao had actually deleted her from his friends list. Outraged, Yanren demanded to know how he dared to remove her. She swore that from that day on, they were completely through. Even if he knelt and begged her like a dog, she would never forgive him. Meanwhile, inside the game at Windleaf City's Eastern District, Ye Xiao remarked to Tota that the Western District would soon flourish, just as this one had. He had come to identify some of his newly acquired items, so he headed to an appraisal shop. However, the shopkeeper informed him that they only appraised silver-grade equipment and above. If he had bronze-grade equipment, he would have to visit another shop outside the city. In response, Ye Xiao took out one of his dark gold tier items and asked if the shopkeeper could handle it. The shopkeeper examined the piece in surprise. It truly was dark gold grade. Grinning, he assured Ye Xiao that, as a gold tier appraiser, he had over an 80% success rate. The only catch was that dark gold grade appraisals cost 100 gold coins each. Unfazed, Ye Xiao handed over the money and mentioned he had several more dark gold tier items to be appraised as well. The shopkeeper was stunned. This customer was clearly loaded. Ye Xiao urged him to hurry, as he was in a rush. The first item appraised was a blue crystal necklace called the Night Pendant. Level 10, dark gold grade. It granted plus 40 spirit, plus 40 strength, and minus 20% dark attribute damage taken. The shopkeeper was astonished by its impressive stats. Ye Xiao was equally pleased. Over the next while, all of Ye Xiao's dark gold items were successfully appraised. He equipped a few, boosting his base attributes to 142 strength, 99 constitution, 264 spirit and 110 agility. His special attributes were now luck, 65, and charm, 68. With these stats, Ye Xiao felt much more confident in his abilities. Toda then asked what their plan should be. Noting that Lady Sophia had yet to send any updates, Ye Xiao decided they might as well head to Grey Mist Valley for some leveling. Moments later, they arrived. Toda was startled by the sight of level 20 monsters, warning that it wasn't a suitable place for a level 11 player. Ye Xiao nodded in acknowledgement, but before they could proceed, a group of level 21 grey hyenas appeared. Corrupted by the valley's grey mist, these hyenas were more violent than normal, known to strike from behind. Ye Xiao quickly summoned Little Grey to fight them. The little dragon unleashed a dragon breath attack, instantly defeating the grey hyenas. Meanwhile, Ye Xiao calmly sipped tea, noting that although the monsters here were high level, they approached on their own, and Little Grey could handle them. For 2 hours, Little Grey fended off every monster that wandered too close. By the end, Ye Xiao had easily reached level 12, and Little Grey had also hit level 12. Ye Xiao was amazed at how straightforward leveling had become. At this rate, he might reach level 20 in just a few days. While looting the fallen monsters, he discovered a beginner fireball spell scroll. Toda joked that a beast tamer using fireball might look odd, but Ye Xiao merely smiled, insisting that more skills were always better. He successfully learned fireball, which dealt 150% of his spirit as magic damage, had a 1-second cast time, cost 50 MP, and had a 5-second cooldown. Just then, one of the grey hyenas charged at Ye Xiao. Eager to try his newly learned fireball spell, he cast it, only to see it deal a mere 31 damage. Stunned by how weak it was, Ye Xiao began wondering why the spell's damage was so low. Toda burst out laughing, joking that Little Grey's farts would do more harm. Ye Xiao ignored him and checked the time, realizing that only 2 hours remained before the official public release began, on the 3rd day of Doomsday. At that moment, all citizens of the Great Xia Kingdom aged 16 and above would be forcibly pulled into this dangerous game, bringing about a massive change in the world. As predicted, exactly 2 hours later in the real world, dark thunderclouds filled the sky. A glowing blue system window appeared before everyone aged 16 and older, displaying the words, Doomsday, entering game. Confused people wondered if it was some kind of midnight prank, until they were abruptly pulled into the Doomsday game. Some had been soaking in a bathhouse, others were eating, and many questioned whether they had just been transported to another dimension. Yanran and Zhou Hong were likewise forced into the game. Yanran, disoriented, wondered why she had automatically logged in. Zhou Hong, equally confused, said he had been sharing a midnight snack with Wang Wan and others when he was pulled in. Glancing around, they realized that countless people had also been taken. It was now clear that Doomsday was merging with reality. Zhou Hong asked Yanran if she had contacted Ye Xiao about power leveling them, but she snapped that she wanted nothing to do with him. Even if he begged her, she wouldn't acknowledge him. Instead, she'd planned to reach out to the legendary Knight Xiao, the #1 ranked player. Startled, Zhou Hong asked if she truly knew the top-ranked player. Yanran smiled and admitted she didn't. Yet. But no man had ever resisted her charms, so she'd intended to make him help them. Just then, a system-wide announcement echoed throughout the game, informing everyone that all citizens of the Great Xia Kingdom aged 16 and above had been forcibly logged into Doomsday. The logout function had vanished, making voluntary departure impossible. Furthermore, each player's spawn point corresponded to their real-world location. Those who lived closer together found themselves near each other in-game. More ominously, if a player died in the game, they would not return to the real world. At this revelation, the new arrivals realized that something was gravely amiss. Many recalled that Knight Xiao had raced through the beta, leveling up with shocking speed. Some speculated he might be a game master, believing that if anyone knew how to escape, it would be him. Determined, they vowed to find him at all costs. Meanwhile, in newbie village number 001, a man called Immovable Mountain stood atop a hill, listening to a subordinate kneeling before him. The man reported they had yet to discover any way of exiting the game, and might be permanently trapped. Immovable Mountain asked for news about Knight Xiao, but his subordinate explained that Knight Xiao, already level 12, was no longer in the newbie zone, and they had no means to contact him. Inquiring next about Chen Kuang, or Kuang Blade, Immovable Mountain was surprised to hear he was only level 4. The subordinate said that despite grinding ceaselessly, Doomsday's difficulty prevented most from progressing. Many people were stuck at level 2. Immovable Mountain marveled at how extraordinary Knight Xiao must be, then ordered his men to spread the word. They had to locate this top player. Around that time, Ye Xiao received a message from Lady Sophia, summoning him to the Duke's mansion with news about what he had been investigating. Thrilled that details about the royal beast tamer had come so quickly, Ye Xiao set off for the mansion without delay. As Ye Xiao entered the mansion, he was momentarily stunned by Lady Sophia's revealing outfit. Blushing with embarrassment, he thought she looked incredibly seductive. Who could resist that? Quickly changing the subject, he asked if there was any news about the royal beast tamer. Lady Sophia explained that her uncle Stir was currently traveling and couldn't return just yet. Disappointed, Ye Xiao felt his hopes sink, but Lady Sophia continued, saying that her uncle had asked her to tell Ye Xiao how to unlock the hidden class. Surprisingly, it was located right here in Windleaf City. Ye Xiao's eyes lit up. He'd assumed he would have to travel to the ends of the earth, only to discover the treasure was practically in his own backyard. He pressed Lady Sophia for details, and she hesitantly told him that, according to her uncle Stir, a very powerful dragon resided at the top of Dragon Ridge, just outside the city. Beneath that dragon's lair lay a labyrinth. Deep inside it, Ye Xiao, recalling his past life knowledge, asked if she meant the cave maze. Startled, Lady Sophia wanted to know how he knew its name. Ye Xiao sidestepped the question, claiming he had heard of it before. In his previous life, he had grinded the cave maze extensively, facing only a level 80 demonized boss, no dragon. He wondered if something had changed this time. Lady Sophia confirmed that her uncle insisted a dragon guarded that area. Without hesitation, Ye Xiao decided to check it out immediately. Alarmed, Lady Sophia reminded him he was only level 12, and that adventurers far stronger than him had never returned alive from a level 80 zone. He assured her that he had his methods. Toda grinned, chiming in that Ye Xiao had once stolen a dragon egg, so a mere labyrinth was nothing. Give him enough money, and he'd even take down a dragon. Dealing with dragons was Ye Xiao's specialty apparently. Retrieving his Supreme Hall token, Ye Xiao summoned Dolores. Lady Sophia was stunned. How could a level 12 player possess a Supreme Hall token? Dolores appeared and asked why Ye Xiao had called Big Sis this time. Ye Xiao explained he had a big job for her. Surprised, Dolores asked if this was another dragon-related mission. When Ye Xiao nodded, Dolores couldn't help but ask if he had some grudge against dragons. After all, he'd nearly broken her back last time while stealing that dragon egg. Dolores initially refused, telling him to hire someone else. Ye Xiao then offered her the same payment as before, 2 billion gold coins. Though tempted, Dolores still declined, explaining that she was injured and needed recovery time. She could accompany him in a month, once healed. In response, Ye Xiao mentioned knowing the location of the Holy Spirit Spring, which could speed her recovery. Shocked, Dolores demanded to know if he was serious. If he truly knew where it was, she would go with him even if it killed her. Ye Xiao confirmed it was in the Lost Lands, and they struck a deal. Watching from a distance, Lady Sophia thought Ye Xiao was beyond anything she could have imagined. She couldn't help but anticipate his future growth, perhaps even to the level of a god-tier powerhouse. Meanwhile, outside the beginner village, many players gathered around a man named Wang Qiang, who had just been slashed twice by a goblin. After respawning, his organs began failing. Panic spread as people realized the game could truly kill them. Everyone wanted to go home, but nobody knew how to log out. Suddenly, someone mentioned hearing about a player who had already reached level 12. Maybe they should find him and ask for help. On the other side of the world, Ye Xiao and his group reached Dragon Ridge, where the Holy Spirit Spring was rumored to be. Toda, admiring the area's beauty, remarked that it hardly seemed like a dragon's hiding place. Dolores cautioned him that the more peaceful a place looked, the deadlier the danger lurking there. Ye Xiao agreed, pointing out that the monsters here were level 80. Without Dolores's level suppression buff, they would already be surrounded. Since they were heading for the labyrinth, it was best to avoid unnecessary battles. Suddenly, they noticed a huge dragon city perched atop the mountain. Dolores nervously asked if Ye Xiao really knew where the labyrinth entrance was, noting that the dragon above was tier 5. She did not want to be spotted. Ye Xiao told her to relax, insisting that the dragon wouldn't see them. He led them to a steep slope on the mountainside, where a massive stone gate stood adorned with a mysterious magic pattern. Examining the magical array, Dolores remarked on its sophistication. She saw no lingering magic residue, and doubted she could open it. Ye Xiao reassured her, drew a knife, cut his hand, and let a few drops of blood fall onto the teleportation array. Startled, Dolores asked how he knew how to activate it. Ye Xiao only smiled in response. He told Dolores that he had his own ways, and asked her to just follow him. Dolores couldn't believe how mysterious he was, and wondered just how many secrets he was hiding. But when Ye Xiao entered the cave, The system warned him that the area they were entering was an extremely dangerous zone called the Dark Cavern Maze. This maze had only one exit, and if they didn't find it within the time limit, they would be trapped forever. That wasn't the only thing to worry about. The maze was also occupied by dangerous creatures, and they had only 180 minutes to complete it. Hearing this, Ye Xiao was confused. He couldn't believe it was now classified as an eerie zone, with only 3 hours to escape. In his previous life, he had heard the time limit was 3 days. The only explanation he had was that something was off. Even the time limit had been shortened this time. Dolores, a little worried and scared, warned Ye Xiao. This mission is even more dangerous than facing a Tier 5 dragon. Are you sure you still want to go after those items? Ye Xiao smiled and told Dolores, "You're a god-tier sorcerer. You can't be scared of something like this." Dolores couldn't believe it. This brat actually thinks I'm scared? She laughed and said, "Don't be ridiculous. I'm a god-tier powerhouse, a supreme hall elder, and a top sorcerer. I'm not afraid of some mere eerie maze." Ye Xiao smiled and said, "That's what I wanted to hear." Then he asked Dolores, "Do you know concealment magic?" Dolores coughed and snapped, "What kind of nonsense question is that? Concealment magic is such a low-level spell. I didn't even bother learning it when I was an apprentice." Ye Xiao calmly asked her not to be mad. He told her he wanted her to use concealment magic to hide their presence and aura. For Dolores, that was child's play. She snapped her fingers and activated Shadow Phantom buff. With that, they merged with the darkness and became invisible for a while. Ye Xiao was amazed to see such an incredible effect, exactly what he expected from a god-tier sorcerer. He then told Dolores, "There are 5 eerie monsters in this maze. 3 of them are level 60 crawlers. 1 is a level 60 elite boss, and the last is a level 80 regular eerie monster. We need to be careful." Dolores, surprised and curious, asked him, "How do you know that? This is the first time anyone's entered and discovered this dungeon." Ye Xiao smiled. Of course, he couldn't tell her that he had cleared this maze 800 times in his past life. Of course, he knew a few things. Dolores, now even more surprised, asked Ye Xiao, "How many secrets are you hiding?" Ye Xiao smiled and simply said, "Just then, 3 monsters appeared in front of them, guarding the gate." Ye Xiao told Dolores that they needed to sneak past without drawing attention. He asked her to follow him closely and watch his footwork. Dolores scoffed and replied, "Don't teach me. I'm a higher level than you and I've cleared more mazes in my lifetime than you've walked roads." Ye Xiao didn't listen, and just told her to follow exactly where he walked. Ye Xiao skillfully avoided the traps and walked right past the monsters. Dolores was stunned. She couldn't believe he had just passed a level 60 elite, and it didn't even notice him. She took back what she had said earlier, and acknowledged Ye Xiao as her master. She then used the same tactics, and successfully dodged all the traps, passing by the monsters without being noticed. Then, Ye Xiao reminded her, telling Dolores to get ready for combat. They were reaching their destination. However, to Ye Xiao's surprise, the boss monster guarding the chest this time was different from what he remembered in his past life. It was the maze guardian Yin's spirit beast. Ye Xiao asked Dolores to check the monster's level. It was a level 100 berserk eerie boss, pretty average in strength. Then Ye Xiao told her that he would go open the treasure chest, and asked her to get ready to strike. But before he could go, Dolores placed an absolute defense buff on him. Better safe than sorry. Ye Xiao turned to Toda and warned, "Don't move recklessly like last time, or you'll alert the Yin spirit beast." Toda replied, "Don't worry about me. You should worry about yourself." Ye Xiao sneaked behind the monster and opened the loot chest. According to his memories from his previous life, there should have been a hidden class scroll inside. However, when he opened the chest, he was shocked. The treasure inside was different from what it had been in his past life. As he was trying to make sense of it, the boss monster noticed him and tried to attack. But Dolores reacted just in time and used Frost Shock to stop the monster. She shouted to Ye Xiao, "Hurry up! I'm barely holding him back." Ye Xiao ran, but the monster quickly broke free from the Frost Shock and began chasing after him. Panicked, Ye Xiao called out to Dolores for help. Dolores quickly stepped in front of him and activated a 5-point magic formation, restricting the monster's movement. Meanwhile, Ye Xiao checked the loot he had gotten from the chest. To his surprise, the scroll was made of sheepskin, and more importantly, he had received a diamond-like item, a heaven-rank treasure. It had an active skill cooldown power. Cooldown stone. Effect. Resets the cooldown of any skill or item, regardless of its rank. Ye Xiao was amazed. With this item, he could reset any of his skills' cooldowns instantly. Then Dolores asked Ye Xiao, "What do we do about the boss? Should we fight it or run?" "Of course we're going to fight it," Ye Xiao replied. "Go all out and unleash your full power." Dolores released her full strength and landed a devastating thunderstrike on the monster. The monster roared in pain. Ye Xiao, confused, asked, "Why is the boss screaming like that?" Toda shouted, "It's not going berserk, it's summoning something." To their horror, the monster wasn't going berserk, it was summoning the dragon they had seen before entering the dungeon. The dragon broke through the dungeon roof and unleashed a fiery breath, burning everything in its path. "Run for your life!" Dolores yelled. "There's no way we can beat that thing." But she was exasperated. Why does it always come down to running for our lives? And how the hell can a yin beast summon a dragon? Ye Xiao shrugged. Maybe they're just neighbors who protect each other's territory. Toda scoffed and shouted, "Shut up and run! The monster's catching up, and it's targeting you, Ye Xiao. It's gone berserk and is immune to slow effects. Run!" But Ye Xiao suddenly stopped. "There's no way I can outrun it," he said. "If it's going all out, then I have no choice. I need to take it down first." Dolores warned him, "That thing is level 100. You're only level 12. You can't take it down." Ye Xiao knew that, but with his cooldown stone and brutal chapter, this was the perfect chance to test his firepower. Dolores couldn't believe it. "You're seriously gambling with your life here." Ye Xiao used the cooldown stone, removed the cooldown on brutal chapter, and launched the attack on the monster. But to his dismay, it only dealt 242 damage. He stared at the number in disbelief. "That's all the damage I did." But then, to his surprise, the damage number started rising. The tiny hole he had made in the monster's chest expanded rapidly, and within moments, the monster's body exploded. The yin beast was killed instantly. Stunned and confused, Ye Xiao wondered what had just happened. The system informed him, "Target's HP has fallen below 20%. Forced instant death effect triggered." After successfully killing the level 100 strange demonized boss, the yin beast, Ye Xiao leveled up 8 times, reaching level 20. His beast companion, Little Gray, also reached level 20. With this, Ye Xiao had hit the level cap and could no longer level up for now. Ye Xiao was in disbelief. "I really reached level 20 instantly." Dolores was equally shocked. She couldn't believe that a level 12 rookie had just taken down a level 100 demonized boss by himself. Because of this achievement, the system issued a worldwide announcement telling everyone that Daxia player Ye Xiao has successfully killed the level 100 strange demonized boss, Yin Beast, achieving the first kill on a level 100 demonized boss, 500 reputation, 50 attribute points, and 1 Daxia Warzone points. The world went into chaos. People couldn't believe it, asking, "What kind of bullshit is this? The game just launched, so how can someone kill a level 100 boss already? That's not even humanly possible. This game is bugged. Or maybe Ye Xiao isn't even human. There's definitely something fishy here." Some were so shocked they kneeled before Ye Xiao, calling him daddy and acknowledging him as their godfather. But others remained skeptical. How can a level 12 rookie kill a level 100 boss? He must be hacking. Even an old man in the crowd couldn't believe it. Daxia, the country we thought we had completely surpassed, produced a player like this, he wondered. Could the hidden force behind Doomsday be related to this Ye Xiao? Meanwhile, after defeating the boss, the cave began to collapse. Dolores shouted, "We need to get out of here. Now." But Ye Xiao replied, "Wait, I haven't grabbed the loot yet." Dolores quickly opened a portal and yelled, "Forget the loot. If you don't leave now, you won't make it out alive." Ye Xiao agreed. Obviously, life comes first. After narrowly escaping death, Dolores remarked, "I haven't done something this exciting in a long time." Ye Xiao laughed and thanked her. "If you didn't have that portal, we'd be toast." Just when they thought they were safe, the Skyfire Dragon, the same one that attacked them in the dungeon, suddenly descended and looked right at them. It unleashed its fire breath attack, forcing Ye Xiao and Dolores to run for their lives once again. "If I die," Dolores shouted, "just make sure to send me the coordinates of the Holy Spirit Spring, and my payment." Luckily, they managed to escape successfully. Sometime later, in Fengye, the main city, Ye Xiao went to meet Miss Sophia and showed her the job change scroll. Miss Sophia was amazed. "You actually managed to get the item from the labyrinth? Incredible." Ye Xiao smirked and said, "It was nothing. A piece of cake." Though deep down, he knew he had nearly died. It definitely wasn't a piece of cake. Now that he had the scroll, he asked Miss Sophia, "How do I unlock the hidden class?" Miss Sophia examined the scroll and said, "This parchment doesn't seem to be a class-changing scroll." Ye Xiao was confused. "What do you mean it's not a class-changing scroll?" Miss Sophia explained. "According to my uncle's stare, this parchment doesn't change your class. It unlocks your hidden potential and awakens a unique class meant just for you." She asked Ye Xiao to follow her and brought him into a secret chamber. Ye Xiao was surprised. "I never knew this estate had a hidden room. I don't remember discovering this in my past life." Inside the secret chamber, a man was standing before them. He introduced himself. "Welcome, Ye Xiao. I am Stir, Royal Beastmaster, and the one you seek. Ye Xiao greeted Mr. Stir, and told him that he was there to unlock his hidden class. However, Mr. Stir was surprised, saying, I thought this method of class changing had vanished from the world, but it seems I was wrong. He took the job-changing scroll and agreed to assist Ye Xiao with his class transition. He asked him, Are you ready? Ye Xiao smiled and said, I can't wait any longer. Mr. Stir nodded and told Ye Xiao, This parchment will awaken the deepest power within you. Follow your heart's guidance. He also instructed Ye Xiao to stay calm, not panic, not resist, and to guide his energy around his body with focus and intent. As Ye Xiao followed Mr. Stir's instructions, energy orbs began to appear around his body. Mr. Stir was stunned. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Ye Xiao had activated all 5 crystal balls. Miss Sophia, noticing her uncle's shocked expression, asked him, Is this what you meant by the supreme class transfer? Mr. Stir nodded. Look at those 5 crystal balls around him. They represent potential. When I changed my class, I could only activate 3. But this man, he's breaking the limits of humanity and activating all 5? Is this guy even human? Miss Sophia, excited, couldn't believe her uncle thought so highly of Ye Xiao. Could Ye Xiao be something far beyond an ordinary person? Suddenly a system notification comes, congratulating Ye Xiao for successfully completing the class transfer quest, Whispers of the Dragon, and changing his class to the unique hidden profession. Due to the infusion of mysterious power, his class rank has been upgraded. He has surpassed the class rank limit and advanced to the unique God-tier hidden profession. After successfully changing to a hidden God-tier profession, Ye Xiao's body overflowed with power. But what surprised him even more was when he looked at his new status. It was insane. Mr. Stir was in disbelief. Someone actually unlocked the legendary Beast God Masterclass? That means he's mastered the supreme power of the Beast God and gains 40 attribute points per level. Ye Xiao was equally amazed when he saw the stat boosts. Even the God's Guardian set came with a crafting blueprint, equipment that grows in power, and it starts at epic rank. However, the materials needed to craft it were all rare, and he'd have to hunt dangerous monsters to gather everything. Ye Xiao thanked Mr. Stir for assisting him with the class transfer. Mr. Stir told Ye Xiao, Now that you've stepped into the divine realm, your potential is limitless. Toda agreed, nodding in approval. Ye Xiao smiled to himself. Looks like I'm destined to reach the peak in this lifetime. But first, I need to craft the Beast God's Claw. Meanwhile, somewhere else in the game, a group of players arrived to challenge the Abyss-level trial. After witnessing Ye Xiao's solo clear, they approached the respected Guardian and said, We wish to challenge the Abyss trial. Seeing the 3 of them well equipped, the Guardian asked, What level of the trial are you attempting? But one of them, a man named Tiger Unleashed, stepped forward and said, I'm going solo. Abyss-level trial. The Guardian was stunned. Another one trying to solo the Abyss-level trial? Tiger Unleashed replied confidently, I live for challenges. No regrets, even if I die. The 2 girls with him wished him the best of luck and said they'd wait outside for his good news. Tiger Unleashed gave them a thumbs up and said, Don't worry, you won't be waiting long. The Guardian couldn't believe what he was seeing. These visitors from another world, they're really built different. 5 minutes later, Tiger Unleashed came running out, covered in wounds, shouting, Heal me! His companions quickly helped him and asked, What happened inside? Tiger Unleashed replied, The monsters in there were mutated and terrifying. They're not weak enough to be soloed by just anyone. One of his companions gave him a healing potion and realized, not just anyone can solo the Abyss-level trial. Meanwhile, at Great Rift in a level 20 trial of Abyss level, Ye Xiao arrived to level up, but when he looked at the surrounding community, he was surprised to see how lively it was. People were talking non-stop, asking questions like, Who is Ye Xiao really? What kind of bug is he using to level up so fast? Ye Xiao, however, didn't want anyone to know his identity. He just wanted to lay low and focus on leveling up. He sat down on the ground, enjoying the view, while his beast companion Little Gray fought monsters to gain experience. Little Gray used Dragon Claw and dealt 2,354 damage, instantly killing a rock monster. After defeating it, the monster dropped 2 dark gold rank equipment items, the rock-shattering hammer and the rock great sword, a 2-handed sword. Just as Ye Xiao bent down to pick up the items, a boss monster suddenly appeared in front of him. It was a level 20 Abyss Watcher of King rank. Ye Xiao couldn't believe it. A King-level boss. Fortunately, it was only level 20. He quickly charged at the boss with the sword he just picked up and ordered Little Gray to attack. Meanwhile, back at the Abyss trial, Tiger Unleashed, who had attempted to solo it, had unfortunately died during the trial. His companions were in shock, asking, How could this happen? They had followed Ye Xiao's leveling path exactly. There was only one explanation. If Ye Xiao cleared the Abyss trial, he must have found some kind of exploit. As they were discussing this, another system announcement appeared before them. It was a world announcement telling all the players that Ye Xiao from Grand Xia Nation has successfully cleared the level 20 Abyss trial, becoming the first in history to do so. As he reward, he got epic item Stone of Valor, 1 Grand Xia Nation Warzone points. Ye Xiao had defeated the king-level boss. However, to his surprise, there was no loot, just another Abyss stone fragment. He was confused. When I killed the Wanderer, it also dropped a fragment, and now the Watcher dropped one too. What exactly are these things? Could these fragments be used to synthesize some kind of divine equipment? Ye Xiao placed the fragment in his inventory. No matter what, I'll figure out what these are used for eventually. Time to head back. When he returned to town, the city guards congratulated him for passing the trial, and handed him his reward, an epic rank item, Stone of Valor. They informed him that it could be used to enhance the Badge of Bravery. Ye Xiao was amazed. It's actually an item to enhance the Badge of Bravery. Without wasting any time, he used the Stone of Valor to upgrade his badge. Because of that, his Badge of Bravery successfully evolved into a legendary grade badge. The new effects were so powerful, Ye Xiao couldn't believe it. With this legendary badge, even the level 30 area will be a piece of cake. Before he could head out, a system notification popped up in front of him saying that due to upcoming maintenance, the game will be temporarily shut down soon. Ye Xiao was confused. What's going on? Does this mean we can finally exit the game and return to reality? Other players also received the same notification, and were relieved to see that they could finally log out and meet their families again. Moments later, one by one, all the players began logging out of the game and returning to the real world. Back in the real world, at Ye Xiao's house, he quickly turned on the TV and started watching the news about the game, where the reporter was saying, after Daxia, the United States has also become engulfed by the Apocalypse game. Experts predict that this supernatural game phenomenon will soon sweep across the entire globe. Falling asleep and being automatically transported into the game, Apocalypse, has become a problem that all of humanity must face. A player named Meng Hu Chulong was found dead in both the game and the real world, raising terrifying concerns. How dangerous is the Abyss difficulty trial? What future awaits ordinary players? Seeking answers, a reporter invited one of the top-ranked players, Qing Feng, to discuss how to level up safely and successfully. Qing Feng told the reporter that he had led a team to conquer the hard difficulty advancement trial. In today's livestream, he would also discuss whether dying in the trial truly affects real life. Meanwhile, to Ye Xiao, the name Qing Feng sounded unfamiliar, but interesting. He was curious to see what kind of skills Qing Feng had. The reporter asked Qing Feng, as the first player to pass the hard difficulty advancement trial, and the only one since Ye Xiao to clear an advancement trial. How do you feel? Qing Feng replied. I didn't pass the trial alone. I barely cleared it with my team's help. I was just lucky. The reporter continued. What do you think about players now entering Apocalypse whenever they fall asleep? Qing Feng answered. As for the existence of Apocalypse, officials still have no explanation, but surviving in this world is far more complicated than it seems. Then the reporter asked him, we've also learned that Ye Xiao, a player from Daxia, has cleared the Abyss difficulty trial twice. As a fellow top player, what do you think? Qing Feng replied seriously. Ye Xiao and I aren't even in the same league. Even if all the other players on the leaderboard combined their strength, they probably still wouldn't be able to beat him. Meanwhile, in another location, a man in a white suit, watching the interview, realized something. If I could make someone like Ye Xiao work for me, I would gain absolute power in the world of Apocalypse. He turned to his butler. Use all available resources. Find out everything about this Ye Xiao. At the same time, Ye Xiao was also processing what had happened. The game unexpectedly underwent system maintenance and forcibly logged everyone out. Players can only enter the game by falling asleep. Seeing this, Ye Xiao realized, the invasion of reality by Apocalypse is progressing more slowly than in my previous life. But that's actually good. It gives me a great chance to level up faster. For Beast Tamers, level 30 is a crucial milestone. At that level, they unlock an additional beast slot. No need to think too hard for now. I'll just get to level 30 first. Without wasting any time, Ye Xiao logged back into the game and entered level 30, Grey Mist Valley. He summoned Little Grey and started hunting monsters to level up. Little Grey used a stun technique to restrict the monster's movement, then followed up with Fire Breath, killing them instantly. Both of them leveled up to level 24. Ye Xiao was thrilled to see the insane leveling speed. Meanwhile, back in Hindi Town, players were shocked when they looked at the leaderboard. Ye Xiao's leveling speed was beyond belief. His level had risen again, and the gap between him and the second-place player was now more than double. Even Qing Feng was surprised. I thought leveling would slow down at higher levels. Other players should have started catching up by now. But instead, the gap's only widening. His teammate tried to cheer him up. Our opponent was never Ye Xiao to begin with. At that level, he's already on another tier. We may not be the best, but we're still better than most. Getting second place is still something to be proud of. Another teammate nodded. Besides, we still hold third, fourth, fifth, and sixth place. That's more than enough. Meanwhile, at beginner village number 9527 near the dragon's nest, two dragons were speaking to each other, Glorious Dragon and Fire Dragon. The Fire Dragon asked, "The egg has been missing for days, yet you're still hiding in this dark corner, sleeping peacefully? As the Dragon Prophet, you bear the fate of our entire race." The Glorious Dragon calmly responded, "Have you not sensed it, that human carries an aura the gods despise?" The Fire Dragon narrowed his eyes. "Are you talking about the repulsive gods? But you don't believe in that tale. How could a mere human insect possess such power?" The Glorious Dragon replied firmly, "I am the Dragon Prophet. I can see further than you. That is why I'm willing to entrust our race's future to this mortal." The Fire Dragon growled in frustration. "You're being reckless." But the Glorious Dragon shook her head. "There is no time left. We must act quickly, before it's too late. Darkness will transcend space and time, devouring all. This mortal is the last hope." So, she asked the Fire Dragon to follow her. However, the Fire Dragon wasn't agree with her. How could he entrust the fate of the dragon race to a mortal? But the Glorious Dragon told him not to worry too much. Just follow her, and he would see. Meanwhile, a group of players finally made it to Windleaf Main City. It wasn't easy, but they made it. Besides Night Xiao, they should be the first players to reach Windleaf Main City. As they were celebrating, they suddenly heard a noise and noticed two giant dragons flying above the city. One of the dragons was carrying someone who was shouting for help. It was Ye Xiao, calling out for aid as the Judgment Dragon was kidnapping him. Toda, however, told him to stop yelling, saying, "There's no one strong enough to save you." The players, who had just entered Windleaf City for the first time, couldn't believe what they were seeing. They had never seen such huge dragons before. What shocked them even more was that Night Xiao had been captured by dragons, and the dragons seemed to be carrying him somewhere. A blue-haired man said that even if they reached level 100, no one would dare get involved with a dragon of this caliber. One of his teammates asked if they should follow it, but the blue-haired man warned them, "That's the Judgment Dragon. One sneeze from it and we're all gone. There's no way we can save him." The news spread through the community quickly. The players who saw the scene unfold with their own eyes were telling everyone that a dragon boss had appeared outside Windleaf City, one of the main cities. A poor, unlucky player had been captured. Big shot Qingfeng Kuizhu revealed that the unlucky player might be Night God. What does being caught by a dragon mean? Here's what ordinary players say, top players say, and what a leaderboard veteran shockingly says. Players around the world were stunned, wondering why Night Xiao was caught by two dragons. Some of them hadn't even seen a dragon yet, and Night God was already dealing with dragons? No wonder his level is so high. The dragons must be power leveling him. That's some crazy grinding speed. Some were jealous, thinking if they were that powerful, they'd probably be level 30 by now too. How can Night Xiao already be interacting with such high-level creatures? That's insane. Meanwhile, the two dragons took Ye Xiao into their dragon lair and released him. Ye Xiao, a little scared, wondered why these two dragons had captured him, but when he looked at them closely, he realized they looked so familiar. Toda smirked and asked Ye Xiao if he had forgotten the good deeds he'd done. These were the same dragons he had messed with before. Ye Xiao realized he was doomed. One of them had its egg stolen by him, and the other had its home looted. Things weren't looking good. The Fire Dragon approached Ye Xiao and asked if he wasn't afraid. Ye Xiao, clearly scared, gathered his remaining courage in front of the dragon and told him, "You can kill me or flay me, do as you wish, but I am not afraid of you." But inside his head, he thought, who wouldn't be afraid? Anyone who says otherwise is a fool. But the Red Dragon assured Ye Xiao and told him he didn't need to fear them. He revealed that the dragon egg Ye Xiao took was the last hope of the dragon race. Bringing him here was to bestow upon him a great opportunity. Ye Xiao, a little confused, asked them if they were talking about Little Gray. The Fire Dragon, however, became furious seeing Ye Xiao dare to give such a disgraceful name to a dragon. But Ye Xiao insisted that Little Gray really liked the name he gave him. The Red Dragon intervened and told the Fire Dragon that there wasn't much time left. The Fire Dragon agreed, and both of them flew into the sky, chanting in the name of the dragon god. Meanwhile, Ye Xiao, confused and scared, asked them, "What are you going to do to me?" He nervously added that he was just joking earlier. "If you let me live, I'll do whatever you want." Toda also tried to clarify, telling the dragons, "I don't even know him that well. The dragon egg theft really had nothing to do with me. They didn't listen. They continued chanting, and suddenly energy began pouring from their bodies into a massive dragon statue in front of them. Because of that energy, the statue's eyes began to glow. Then, the statue turned towards Ye Xiao and bestowed the blessing of the dragon clan upon him. He received a part of the dragon god's power. Meanwhile, on the Doomsday Forum, major changes were happening across the server. Daxia Nation continued to dominate, occupying the entire top 100 of the level rankings. But the second spot on the leaderboard had changed. Jinyi Yexing showcased top-tier assassin skills, skyrocketing to level 14, replacing Mingyu Ruyu, and widening the gap. Night Xiao remained at the top, but he hadn't leveled up in 3 days. Has the new god fallen? Ever since being taken by the dragons, Night Xiao had stayed at level 30 for over 3 days, and players were wondering what had happened to him. They kept asking, does anyone know what's going on? What really happened to Night God? No one knew. But judging from his usual pace, something unexpected had probably happened. Some were wondering, getting taken by a dragon, is this some sort of extreme plot? A hidden quest, others speculated. Did Night God make some shady deal with the dragons to level up? Now that he's maxed out, is it time to pay the price by offering up his body? He must have used some trick to take the top spot. Now that it's exposed, he's being punished. One player in the crowd told his friend that his buddy knew some inside info. Night Xiao's done for. He's not coming back in 3 days, not even 30. Another player asked him, who's your buddy? Because even top players like Mingyu Ruyu said they didn't know anything about Night Xiao. How can your buddy know when even the top players don't? Meanwhile, after receiving the dragon god's blessing, Ye Xiao had become stronger, and then passed out. When he opened his eyes, he found himself in a level 40 monster hunting area, and the 2 dragons were gone. Without wasting any time, he opened his status window to check if he had gained unique skills, or boosted stats from the dragon god's blessing. But to his surprise, after all that trouble, he didn't feel much of a change in his attributes. Then he checked his skills, wondering if there was something new. At first glance, nothing seemed different, but looking closely, he realized he had genuinely received a new skill named Money Shield. With this skill, 100 gold coins could be converted into 1 shield point, and he currently had 1.81 billion gold coins. The shield blocked true damage, special damage, attribute damage, and was immune to shield breaking, execution, and instant death effects. Ye Xiao was stunned. He couldn't believe how insane this skill was. To his greater surprise, it didn't even have a cooldown. Since his God of Fortune class gained new talent skills, he wondered if his Beast God controller class had gained anything too. When he checked, he was shocked. He had unlocked a new innate talent, Infinite Beast Mastery, level 1. With this skill, he could tame an infinite number of beasts. Ye Xiao was beyond excited. He couldn't believe he had hit the jackpot. Even royal beastmasters only get 3 core pets, and now he could tame infinite beasts, with no limits. Is this real, or am I dreaming? He wondered. He thanked the mighty dragon gods for giving him such a blessing, and promised to burn incense for the 2 elder dragon gods, thanking his ancestors for 8 generations. Sometime later, he headed toward the level 30 trial hall. The guard recognized him and asked if he was going to take the abyssal level trial. Ye Xiao nodded. Upon hearing this, the guard asked him to wait a moment, then opened the gate to the abyssal level trial for him. As Ye Xiao walked in, the guard showed him the way, and wished him the best of luck. Ye Xiao thanked him, and stepped into the abyssal level trial. But to his surprise, this time, it was a snow-type dungeon. It's so cold, he muttered. Freezing. If he had known it would be this freezing, he would have worn something warmer before entering. Just as he was thinking about this, suddenly a snowball came flying toward him. Ye Xiao quickly dodged it. However, Tota was confused and asked, instead of dodging it, why didn't you use your shield? Ye Xiao smiled awkwardly. I forgot about that. Just then, a snowy monster, Mutant Yeti, rushed toward Ye Xiao to attack. Ye Xiao quickly ordered Little Gray to show them who was fiercer. Little Gray used Dragon Breath and instantly killed the Mutant Yeti. Ye Xiao was shocked. He couldn't believe Little Gray killed a Mutant Yeti with 1 attack. But when he looked at Little Gray's status window, he was stunned. All of Little Gray's stats were insanely boosted. After receiving the Dragon God's blessing, Ye Xiao wasn't the only one who had gotten new skills. Little Gray also received insane skill boosts and stat increases. Just as he was looking over Little Gray's status, suddenly a pack of monsters rushed toward them to attack. Ye Xiao quickly ordered Little Gray to eliminate them. Little Gray used Dragon Breath again and killed all the monsters one by one. Half an hour later, Ye Xiao successfully slew the Seeker of the Abyss, a king-tier monster. Ye Xiao laughed. I can't believe a king-tier monster is this weak. However, Toda warned him. Don't get cocky. Remember how badly you got crushed before. Meanwhile, after Ye Xiao cleared the Abyss-level trial, the system announced, Daxia player, Night Xiao, has passed the Abyss-level advancement trial, becoming the first ever hero to clear the level 30 Abyss trial. Epic item. Heroic Radiant Stone. 1 point added to Daxia Warzone score. All the players who had seen the news about Ye Xiao being taken by dragons, and thought he was dead, were now in shock. One of them told his friend, I knew it. Night God was preparing something big this whole time, but no one believed me. Some were still wondering, how did this guy get taken by dragons and still come back? Daxia's advantage just keeps growing. A man in red armor told his colleague, I knew it. There's no way a character like him would die so early. A player in a hoodie agreed, I can't believe even the level 30 Abyss trial could be cleared. This guy's potential really is bottomless. The man in red armor told his men, let's go back to the city. I want to meet this interesting fellow, and try to bring him under our command. That's when the real game begins. Meanwhile, Ye Xiao, after successfully clearing the Abyss-level trial, received Abyss Stone Fragment 3 as a reward. Ye Xiao was confused, wondering, just how many fragments are there? For now, he didn't know. He also received another reward, the Heroic Radiant Stone, an epic grade item. It was a rare material infused with radiant energy from the Heroic Stone, capable of further enhancing the heroic emblem. Only powerful heroes were qualified to own it. With this Heroic Radiant Stone, he could enhance his heroic emblem again. As Ye Xiao was leaving, the guard said goodbye to him and told him to take care. Ye Xiao thanked him and said goodbye as well. Sometime later, at Fengyi main city, Ye Xiao pulled up his hood to cover his face, seeing how crowded the city had become. He had been missing for several days, and now Fengyi was packed with players, but he didn't care. He went straight to the appraisal shop to get his gear appraised, but to his surprise, there were so many people standing in line outside the shop. However, Ye Xiao didn't have to worry. He had first-class citizenship. He went straight into the shop and told the shopkeeper, I want to appraise my gear. But the shopkeeper, without even looking at him, snapped, Get in line, don't bug me. However, when he looked at Ye Xiao more closely, he suddenly recognized him. His attitude changed immediately. He politely approached and warmly welcomed him. The other players waiting in line weren't happy at all. Furious, they muttered, just because he's first class, he gets to cut the line? But Ye Xiao didn't care. He took out his heroic emblem and asked the shopkeeper, Help me enhance this first. The shopkeeper was shocked to see the heroic emblem. Without wasting any time, he started working on it carefully. This thing's so valuable. I don't want to mess it up, he thought. Meanwhile, other players outside the shop were watching and wondering, what kind of good item is that? Doesn't look like much, just a shabby emblem. But as the shopkeeper began enhancing the heroic emblem, the ice-cold air inside the shop started glowing from its radiance. What they saw next shocked them. The shabby-looking emblem they mocked was actually legendary-grade equipment. However, Ye Xiao wasn't satisfied. Another legendary item, he muttered. He had been expecting more. In his eyes, this didn't seem like a huge upgrade. Seeing the legendary-grade equipment, the other players began to whisper among themselves. Could this guy be the famous Night Xiao, the one who passed the Abyss-level trial? They rushed toward Ye Xiao, asking him to add them as friends. Some begged him to sell the legendary-grade equipment, while others even introduced their sisters, hoping to team up with him. But the shopkeeper shouted, Everyone, calm down. Don't disrupt the store's business. Ye Xiao, wanting to stay low-key, quickly gathered his items and asked the shopkeeper, Help me appraise these other items too. The shopkeeper smiled and said, Don't worry, I won't disappoint you. The other players, however, were shocked to see so many dark gold gear pieces among Ye Xiao's items. They told him, You probably won't use all that gear. Why not sell a few pieces? Some even bragged about their family backgrounds and offered him large sums of money, hoping to buy some of his equipment. Immediately, a guy uploaded a post on the player's portal saying that the great Ye Xian had appeared in Fengyi City, and that everything he had identified was dark gold-ranked gear. He urged everyone to come and worship the Grand Master. Seeing that message, a girl asked on the portal if the info was reliable, since last time they also said Ye Xian had shown up. But when she got there, it was a fake, and she almost had a stroke from rage. The first guy immediately replied that this information was more real than pure gold. He uploaded some photos and told her to look. These were taken at the site, with the coordinates at an appraisal shop east of the city. Seeing this, the girl immediately returned to the city. Not just her, but hundreds of people rushed back to the city and went to the appraisal shop in excitement, asking, Where is the great Ye Xian? One guy said that today he must ask Ye Xian to take him as his disciple. Another shouted that if anyone's going to be a disciple, it's him. Some girls were also going there, saying they wanted to have children with the great Ye Xian. Seeing the crowd, Ye Xian left the appraisal shop and ran away. He hid behind a wall and checked to make sure no one was following him, then sighed, saying, "Being the center of attention all the time is exhausting." But suddenly, a man in red armor approached him, asking if he was Ye Xian. Annoyed, Ye Xian asked the guy what he wanted. The red-armored man told Ye Xian not to get the wrong idea and explained that they didn't mean any harm. They just wanted to talk business. Hearing about a deal, Ye Xian asked if he wanted to buy dark gold-ranked gear. The red-armored man said, "Yeah, something like that," adding that he could make Ye Xian an offer he couldn't refuse. Hearing that, Ye Xian laughed and told him that unless they could pay hundreds of billions of gold coins for dark gold gear, he really wouldn't be able to refuse. Hearing about hundreds of billions of gold coins, the red-armored man told Ye Xian that his vision was still stuck in the game. Ye Xian was surprised to see that this guy showed off even more than he did, but this man hadn't existed in Ye Xian's previous life. The assassin standing behind the red-armored man sounded familiar to Ye Xian. He was one of the top assassins in his past life, someone who never joined any faction and always acted alone. Ye Xian then asked the red-armored man what he was trying to say. The red-armored man told Ye Xian that, seeing him dominate the rankings, he thought Ye Xian had great potential and was sure he'd achieve big things in the future. But it seemed like Ye Xian still hadn't realized the huge benefits his in-game abilities could bring to real life. Hearing all this, Ye Xian told him to keep talking. He wanted to see how far the red-armored guy's act would go. The red-armored man continued, saying he didn't like selling dreams. "Money, status, women, whatever you want, I can give it to you," he boasted, proudly asking Ye Xian to make his choice and join them. After hearing it all, Ye Xian patted the red-armored man on the shoulder, saying, "The fact that you came to me for cooperation means you acknowledge my skills, and I appreciate that." Hearing that, the red-armored man said, "Glad you understand." But before he could finish, Ye Xian created a fireball in his hand and told him, "For someone so young, that cocky attitude, I don't like it. Let me give you a manual respawn to calm you down a bit." The red-armored man got scared, seeing that Ye Xian was about to attack. He asked Ye Xian to think carefully, warning that if he did anything here, but Ye Xian didn't let him finish. He threw the fireball at him, dealing 3,346 health damage, and said, "Idiot. You talk too much." Seeing the red-armored guy die, his subordinates became furious and shouted, "Did he really kill the young master?" They pulled out their weapons to attack Ye Xian, but the assassin from their team stopped them. He told them not to move because this was the main city. Killing was forbidden here, and they couldn't take responsibility for what would happen. Ye Xian then turned to leave, telling them to consider the money and gear on the ground as their compensation. He warned them not to follow the red-armored guy anymore because he had no future. Seeing Ye Xian leave like that, the red-armored guy's subordinates thought he was insane for killing in the main city. But suddenly, sirens sounded, and a loud voice called out, asking who was fighting there. Hearing the sirens, the red-armored guy's subordinates realized that the main city guards had arrived. The next second, a large number of guards appeared, surrounding everyone and telling them not to move. The guards' leader angrily shouted, "Who dares to kill in the main city? Are you out of your mind?" Ye Xian immediately announced that it was him. Hearing this, the guard leader shouted, "You killed someone and you're still this calm? You've got some serious guts." But before finishing his sentence, he stopped. He noticed a badge on Ye Xian's chest and recognized that Ye Xian was a first-class citizen. The guard leader's tone immediately changed. Calmly, he told Ye Xian that there must be some misunderstanding and apologized for their recklessness. He asked Ye Xian if he could explain what happened so they could file a report. Ye Xian told the guard leader it was nothing serious. Someone threatened him a little, so he cleaned him up. The guard leader became angry, hearing that a vagrant dared to verbally offend a first-class citizen. He politely told Ye Xian that the city's safety was their responsibility, and if something like this happened again, he should allow them to handle it, and not dirty his own hands. Ye Xian told the guard leader that it was fine, it was just a small effort. The guard leader thanked him for his understanding and said, "If there's nothing else, we won't disturb you further." Seeing that even after Ye Xian killed someone in the city, the guards didn't do anything. The red-armored guy's subordinates were shocked, asking if this was even possible. The guard leader immediately dismissed his guards and told them to leave, but a guard approached the leader and asked what happened and why they didn't arrest Ye Xian. The guard leader angrily replied, "How many times do I have to tell you? You gunners need to pay attention to the details. Didn't you see that Ye Xian was a first-class citizen? He's exactly the young man the Duchess is looking for. I heard the Duchess has been going crazy these days because she can't find him. Do you think someone like that is the same as any other first-class citizen? If we report this, we'll be promoted." Hearing that, the other guards praised the leader, saying, "No wonder you're the boss." Meanwhile, at the Duke's mansion, Lady Sophia was sitting in her room, going crazy. Good heavens, are you mocking me? Why are there still no updates on Ye Xian? She complained. Just as she said that, a maid came running into her room, telling her they had news about Lord Ye Xian. Lady Sophia jumped out of her seat in excitement and asked the maid where he was. On the other hand, at the resurrection point, after the red-armored guy was resurrected, he angrily asked his subordinates why they didn't act against Ye Xian. His subordinates then explained why they couldn't do anything, even when Ye Xian killed someone in the main city. Hearing all that, the red-armored guy calmed down a little and admitted that it was he who lost his composure. After all, Ye Xian was already level 30 in the game, so it was normal that they were no match for him, and he expected this. The red-armored guy said it was he who gave Ye Xian the illusion that he could be on his level, but soon, he would make Ye Xian realize how foolish he was to challenge him. He then turned to the assassin on his team and ordered him, since he had stealth skills, to go back to the city and retrieve the gear he dropped. The assassin replied, "Yes, young master," and was about to leave, but suddenly a loud voice came from behind saying, "I didn't take your gear, but from the look of it, it seems you won't need it anymore." It was Ye Xian. Hearing his voice, the red-armored guy and his team were shocked. The red-armored guy immediately asked Ye Xian, "This is the respawn zone. What do you think you're doing? Surveillance here is even tighter than in the main city." But Ye Xian didn't listen to a word he said. He raised his staff and cast a spell, telling the red-armored guy, "If you don't remove the root, the grass will grow back with the spring breeze." Saying that, he shot a fireball at the red-armored guy, burning him to death again. Seeing this, the red-armored guy's subordinates immediately drew their swords to attack, but Ye Xian warned them, "Don't move, or red armor won't be the only one to die. Whether I kill one or many makes no difference to me. I don't care." Then, after a few seconds, the red-armored guy was resurrected again right in that resurrection area. Now he was scared. He asked Ye Xian, "What's the meaning of this?" and warned Ye Xian not to take things too far, because if anything happened to him, not only he, but all his family and friends would pay the price. Hearing that, Ye Xian told the red-armored guy, "You're about to die, yet you still boast?" He shot another fireball at the red-armored guy, telling him his threats meant nothing to him. As the red-armored guy died, many people began to gather around the resurrection area. They were shocked to see the great Ye Xian killing someone at the respawn point. A guy asked, "Why is he killing in the respawn zone? Is he crazy?" On the other hand, after dying for the third time, the red-armored guy didn't resurrect. His subordinates panicked when they saw that their young master didn't respawn and was forced to log out. Just as the red-armored guy died, a bald man appeared there with some guards. That bald man was the black-robed judge, and he angrily asked, "Who dares to kill here?" When the assassin from the red-armored guy's team saw the black-robed judge, he told Ye Xian, "Even if you are strong, you won't escape the judgment of the black-robed judge. Now you're really in trouble." Even Ye Xian felt nervous seeing that they had even alerted the black-robed judge. He knew that with his current level, facing the black-robed judge head-on would be a huge loss. He immediately calmed down and told the black-robed judge that he was the one who did the killing and that he would go with them. Seeing how reasonable Ye Xian was, the black-robed judge told his men to take him away. The judge's men handcuffed Ye Xian, and he didn't resist. At the same time, in the real world, at the red-armored guy's home, the red-armored guy was lying on his bed, unresponsive. His butler was trying to wake him, calling, "Young master, wake up!" But it was no use. Hearing the commotion, the red-armored guy's father, an old man, came into the room and asked the butler what was going on, what happened to his son. The butler told the old man that the young master had been killed. Hearing this, the old man was shocked and asked who killed his son. Furious, the old man declared that he wanted the killer's entire family to die with him. At the same time, in the game world, Ye Xian was brought before the Dragon Phoenix Empire court. The judge asked, "First-class citizen of the Dragon Phoenix Empire, Ye Xian, why did you break the laws of Fengi City by killing in the respawn zone?" Ye Xian told the judge that the red-armored guy had brought a group to harass and threaten him. So to defend the dignity of a first-class citizen, he had to kill him. Hearing Ye Xian admit that he blocked the respawn point and killed him 5 times in a row, people present in the court started talking, saying that was too much. He didn't even give him a chance. Another person commented that it was terrifying. Not even the respawn point was safe. If you offend the great Ye Xian, you could lose your life. In this game, if he wants to kill someone, that person is doomed. The judge silenced everyone and told Ye Xian that for killing, and considering it was his first offense, he was sentencing Ye Xian to lifetime exile from the Eastern District, with no right to enter. Ye Xian tried to explain himself to the respected judge, but suddenly a voice came from behind, saying, Ye Xian only killed a vagrant who dared to offend his dignity. Both emotionally and legally, it was a justified action. Everyone looked in the direction the voice came from, and to their surprise, it was Duchess Lady Sophia. She asked the judge, "Isn't this punishment a bit unfair?" Seeing the Duchess, even the judge grew nervous and said, "Respected lady, Judge Ader greets you." Lady Sophia told the judge there was no need for such courtesy. Pointing at Ye Xian, she told the judge that he was her friend, and she didn't want him to be treated unfairly. She asked Judge Ader what he thought. The judge immediately changed his decision, saying, "The lady is right. My sentence was rushed. According to Fengyi city law, if a vagrant offends a first-class citizen, he must be executed." Lady Sophia then asked the judge, "In that case, why not remove the handcuffs from Mr. Ye Xian?" The judge immediately ordered the soldiers to release Ye Xian. Lady Sophia then asked the judge, "If Ye Xian is not guilty and there's nothing else, may we leave?" The judge immediately replied that they could leave at any time. Lady Sophia then turned to Ye Xian and said. Ye Xian replied, "All right, Sophia," and left with her. Once outside, Ye Xian thanked Sophia for her help. She laughed and said, "You got your skin saved again this time." Sophia told Ye Xian that it was nothing. She'd heard he was captured by a dragon, so she sent people all over to look for him and was glad to see he was okay. Ye Xian smiled and told her that he was captured by 2 dragons, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. He got many good things from them. Hearing that, Sophia got very excited and told Ye Xian he had to come home with her and tell her all about his adventures. Ye Xian kissed her hand and said, "Sure, Sophia. It's been a long time since I've seen you. I have a lot to tell you too." Sophia started blushing and asked if he was serious. Ye Xian told her that it was totally true, but then asked if Mr. Stir was still at the mansion because he wanted to ask him about the second-class mission. Hearing about the second-class mission, Sophia was shocked and said, "Ye Xian, you're already level 30? That's too fast." That's all for today, everyone. Before we wrap up, I want to let you know that we've recently launched a membership program here, where you can enjoy perks like early access to videos and soon, exclusive content just for members. You'll also receive custom badges and emojis to enhance your interactions. If you're interested, consider joining our membership to enjoy these benefits. Check out the link in the description to join. See you all in the next video.